up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Reality Recap. I am not Nick Viall. I am your substitute host today, Rayna Greenberg, co-host of the Girls Gotta Eat podcast. With me, I have my best friend, business partner, co-host, Ashley Hesseltine.
Hi.
And the rest of the household, we have Leah here, we have Allie on Zoom, Sweet Boy Justin at the desk, and Sierra on the couch.
Wow.
Very nice.
You're a fun substitute teacher. I'm here for
Hot
this.
substitute alert.
Thank you.
She does have a photographic memory.
Did you practice that at home?
No.
Yes, you did.
You know I'm good at impressions. What's up, everybody?
Well, when we came in, you guys said you were like, this is how Nick says it. And she's like, I got it. Locked and loaded. I've been practicing in the shower.
I do it in every mirror in my house just to see the vibe. We are co-hosting today because Nick and Natalie are on their honeymoon. We are really excited to be here while they do that so that they can take a day off. But Sierra and I are a huge part of their love story. We were here the day that they had the baby.
This is true.
And you just got back from their wedding.
I did. First time in Savannah, Georgia. It was absolutely beautiful. I've never been to a wedding on a farm, and it's life-changing, you guys. I was like,
any farm?
Oh, never. Never.
Have you ever been on a farm?
I'm a child of Southern California.
I love it.
But yeah, no, I've never been to a wedding to where you were allowed to like walk through the stables, pet the horses. They've got cows, goats, you name it. So gorgeous. Natalie looked phenomenal.
She really did.
I was like, Nick, handsome as ever. There's just so much, but I know that they're going to want to tell their story. So I just have to say it was very nice being a guest at their wedding.
It was really beautiful. I mean, they stayed on that content.
I know
us.
they've been very generous.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like loving all of the posts.
I was at it was like the day of the wedding and we already had the welcome party video and I was like,
yeah.
Well, there we are.
I'm so into it. I love that they're doing this. Like,
they're
participating in like the country era movement.
Yeah. I also love like when the couple actually does post things live because in that way you don't have to feel weird about like tagging things in stories. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like, is this allowed?
That's such a good call. Like they said, the couple obviously sets the tone for that. But we've been at weddings where we like kind of got in trouble.
Yep.
Like we were like,
Oh.
were we not supposed to post pics yet? We had to wait on the professional photos to show the bride's dress. Is this real life?
Right.
So
Like, what do you do? Do they send you like a cease and desist? They're like, actually, not yet.
They report it.
No, they text you and it's really scary.
Well, you never know with them because they're famous. So, like, I assume like People Magazine or somebody has
An exclusive.
like an exclusive on it, and you've posted the Instagram story, but they're like, "God damn it, Sierra, we just lost $1 million."
You know. That's why I said the text is really scary. Take it down now.
That's so funny.
So I actually don't. Why did they do it on a farm? Is Natalie from Savannah?
Natalie's from Savannah.
she is.
It's not because it was like Stagecoach this
no.
weekend, and they wanted like a Stagecoach themed wedding.
Honestly,
It competed.
could be good. Yeah.
It competed. No, it's because it's her sister's family's farm. And
Oh my God, it's a family farm.
yeah,
Okay.
and she like grew up there. I know that she posted recently. She's got like 555 on her arm tattooed,
Okay.
and it's because it's like the address of the farm.
Okay, that's so meaningful and special.
Right?
I love that. My
So
parents also live on a
beautiful.
farm, and now I feel like
Oh.
it's so in to be doing this like farm.
It's life changing. As
Okay.
I said, I am like, there's
Say
so
less.
much to do, and little baby animals. I was like petting a cow, and I'm like, this. Where am I right now?
Yeah.
No, Sierra went rogue. Like, I lost Sierra at the welcome party, and she hadn't been back at her seat. I was supposed to guard her food, and I did that for about 4 hours. And I was like, wherever that fucking tiny cow is,
She'll
I was like,
eat one of
that's
the
where she's
cows.
gonna
Sierra's
be.
on a horse. She's like,
Yeah.
everybody.
Sierra's riding off into the sunset by herself.
She's foraging for her own dinner. She's like, I'm in this cornfield, you guys. That's my dinner.
To be fair, I would have been the one to steal your food.
Yep.
Because I saw that mac and cheese and I was like, almost as good as
Oh.
Erewhon's cheese.
Oh.
Mac and cheese.
Have y'all ever had boiled peanuts before?
Yeah, I went to school in the South, and I lived in Atlanta for like 10 years. So I've been to Savannah a couple times, but yeah, boiled peanut. I feel like
I had no idea. I got
That's a
introduced
thing.
for the first time this weekend. Delicious. Allie, do you want to tell us how you eat a boiled peanut?
Not the way I did it.
Wait,
Wait, oh my God, I
because
can't.
I was a fast eater. I don't know if I'm a fast eater
No,
or if
you
I
put
just
the
didn't
shell in your
spend that
mouth.
much time finding
They're
animals.
soggy.
So Sierra still had all of her food in front of her. And I'm sitting there and we're chatting, like we're getting to know a lot of people. So I just reached over to Sierra's plate and grabbed something and threw it in my mouth. I didn't know what it was. And I bit down on it and I just turned, my sister's a doctor. And for some reason I was like, she'll know. And I was like, what did I just eat? And she was like, how the fuck would I know? Like, whatever. So I'm hitting Sierra because she's in the middle of a conversation. I'm like, what did I just eat? I was like, it's in my mouth. It doesn't feel right. I was like, something's wrong. And Sierra's boyfriend, no hesitation, puts his hand out. He goes, spit it out now.
Oh my God,
he
like
was
you're a
you
dog?
just ate an entire peanut.
Wait, that's so sweet though.
That really is sweet.
Yeah. He's
Oh
a good
my
man.
God.
Okay, but if there is any type of peanut you could eat, like a soft shell crab, like you just kind of ate the whole thing.
It's the soft shell
I
crab
literally,
of the,
I was
of the
like,
nut
do I
world.
just swallow
Isn't
it
it
and
soggy?
not tell anybody? It was a panic moment.
You mean like as opposed to accidentally eating the shell of a pistachio nut?
If you eat the
That'd be
shell of a
crazy.
pistachio nut, you're an icon.
You have a death wish. That's crazy.
You have the jaws of life.
Wait, how do you eat it then? You cut it open?
You just kind of crack it open in your hands and like squeeze it in because the actual nut is soft.
yeah.
Oh.
So it's like, I don't know. It's a little delicacy I haven't had before, but I knew not to just
It's like-
shove the whole thing in my mouth.
Like edamame a little bit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
The country edamame.
Not the country edamame.
Sierra's like so educated. She knows how to eat her peanuts. Like,
Well, she goes, do you eat the shell? And I go, do you ever?
Right, like there's not a lot of things you eat the shell.
Exactly.
to be fair, it looked like it was like breaded on the outside, so it wasn't like a clear shell.
I love that you haphazardly or mid conversation, you just reach over and grab like a full shelled peanut. People are like, that girl's so savage.
All right. Well, we wish them congratulations. They'll be back soon. But speaking of Stagecoach, some music news this week. Taylor Swift, her album smashes every record out there, 31 songs. How do we like it?
I'm into it. It's very generous with 31 tracks. I thought I was seeing things at first. I was like, that's a lot of songs. She's just like a writing machine. Like she's like, I can't stop, won't stop. Okay, I will say this. Just hear me out, Swifties. But at first listen, it was, again, I'm just like listening on my Alexa. I wasn't really paying too much attention. I wasn't sitting down at like a listening party like I did for Cowboy Carter. But I was like, it all kind of sounds
The same.
similar.
Mhm.
Whereas Beyonce's album, every song sounded like 10 songs in one. You know, like couldn't have been more different. That was like a wild ride. And this felt a little more mellow. But now that I've dove in more, I love it. I think the songwriting is second to none. I think she's like the greatest songwriter of our time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm just really into a lot of the songs. And I feel like I'm not fully qualified to speak on it, like deep dive, but I really enjoy it and love a lot of the tracks.
Yeah,
guess
I
so.
loved it. I mean, my only knock is I could use a beat. You know, like every once in a while I could use like a little bit of change in tone and a beat. I thought Thank You, Amy was iconic.
Yeah.
I did not expect something so spicy. She's like, one day your daughter is going to come home singing this song
Yeah.
and you'll know it's about you. I was like, damn, like a diss track.
Mhm.
Right.
I did not see that coming from
Yeah.
Taylor
It's
Swift.
like, what's the bigger beef right now? Like Future and Metro Boomin and Drake or Kim and Taylor? Like, I'm like, which diss track do we like more? I can't pick one. Is it Drake or Taylor Swift? And then he's talking about Taylor Swift. You know, it's like a whole thing.
Is Kim gonna speak out on this? Like the Kardashians speak out on everything. Like they have to make a statement about so much, and she's just like, I'm not doing it.
Well, what did you guys think? Because like there was like it said that a source close to Kim said to move on. Was that, do you guys think that came from like Kim's
that was a Watch
camp?
What Happens Live interview that
Oh.
she did several years ago, and they were doing like rapid fire questions, and Andy Cohen was like, Kim, like this beef with Taylor Swift, like still going on, or like we moving on? Like it was like a quick rapid fire interview, and she like took a sip of her drink and she was like, moving on. I just think everyone's over it, like blah blah blah. But then what we've heard from like our own sources, it's like, no, Kim just said we're moving on, we're over it, but Kim has never apologized to Taylor.
Right.
Like there really hasn't been any sort of like reconciliation. So then it was kind of like rich of her to be like, no, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, but what?
Because also Kim
Right.
has posted like Instagram stories with Taylor Swift songs playing in the background. So like she created this facade of like, oh, we're all good.
Yeah.
And then Thank You, Amy.
Taylor loves to hold a grudge, and
Yeah.
I love that. And then have you looked at like Kim's comments like lately?
Thank you,
It's just
Amy.
all thank
Yeah.
you, Amy. It's like real beehive shit, you know, like when people would just bomb posts with bee emojis, like they're really doing that.
I mean, I know the feeling sometimes where people are like carrying torches and like your whole audience is like, you better apologize for this. And you're like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because you demand it. So like I can
Yeah.
see her maybe feeling like that, but I'm just fascinated she has said nothing.
Yeah.
It feels un-Kardashian like.
I don't know. I feel like she also deals with so many like controversies and things like that she's just kind of like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
you'll hate me this week. I'm sure you'll love me
Exactly.
next week.
Right.
I'll go to Harvard. You guys will be fine.
Yeah.
This is
She's
a
like,
decade
once I'm a
ago.
real lawyer. No, it's so true. I mean, there's always something that people are hating on Kim for. It doesn't really seem to affect her
I mean,
much. But anyway, you guys love the album?
I thought it was good.
Like,
I mean,
love.
Allie knows that I've been waiting for Reputation, Taylor's version, and she's been
It's
delaying
coming.
that.
It's coming next.
But we should have had it like a year ago, in my opinion, because that's the album that I love. Like, I
Okay.
love the beat, like Rayna said, versus like she's in this like folklore-ish, like slow era, which is really good. So
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's like we have obviously the stuff about Joe. We have new stuff about like Travis. And I love the fact that like she and Travis seem so good and so stable that I think a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, Travis is going to hate the fact that she's like releasing this whole album about her ex." I'm like, "No, actually I think he's like really good with it." And they were just at an auction this past weekend with the Mahomes and auctioned off like tickets to raise money, and he literally like it was a last minute decision and went up to the mic and he's like, "So I was talking with my significant other, and I think we're gonna like add an extra thing." And I was like, I love them so much.
Oh, can you imagine him? He doesn't care. Can you imagine? He doesn't even like, he's probably just like, yeah, I'm sure the album's great. Like, I don't think he's like registering that like it's X's. I don't know. I
He's
think
like,
just,
I won the Super Bowl.
he's just like, yeah, she's so wonderful. She's such a visionary. Like, I don't think he's thinking, I don't know. I can't imagine him ever caring.
Do you think it just like comes? I actually was like, how is he going to feel about the fact she released 31 songs and like 30 are about another man, multiple other men? But like, do you think that he's just like, this just comes with the territory? Like, you're a
I do.
songwriter, you've been writing songs for years. It would be weird to be upset about it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I absolutely. That didn't really cross my mind. It's just like we have a dating show. We talk about our exes,
Yeah.
you know, on occasion. But then she had a diss track too, I feel like. Is that like the smallest man in the world? Is that
Who's that about?
isn't it supposed to be about
Matt
Matt
Healy?
Healy?
Yeah.
That one's dope too. It like cuts deep.
I think that people were surprised. They thought that the whole album would be about Joe Alwyn and more tracks are about Matt Healy, which was a pretty short relationship, right?
Well, so it's kind of been on and off again. It's like technically it's been like a decade of them kind of having this situationship. And so even though it's like their stint right after Joe was relatively short, I feel like the reason she was so heartbroken is they always had this kind of thing of like, I'll wait for you or like I'll hold out for you. And then it was just like clear. It's like after 10 years of like hit and miss, it just wasn't ever going to work.
I also wonder sometimes if songs are just like don't necessarily have to be exactly about her life, right? She's just like, I don't know, I had an idea for a song and I'm like a great writer. Like I'm a big fan of like Dermot Kennedy, and he's come out and been like, yeah, that's just about a thing I came up with.
Right.
It's not, even
It's
though
like
it sounds
storytelling.
so emotional, it's just like, yes, it's just like I'm a great storyteller.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's a good word for it. Storytelling.
Yeah.
So she gave us 31 songs. I have songs I listen to at home. I have walking songs and I have car ride songs. It's a at home album for me. I'm
Yeah.
working. I'm at home.
Are you to your Reputation, Justin? Like
I'm
like
Reputation,
power
yeah.
ranking? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm at 1989 Reputation folklore, right? Am I
Folklore. Yeah.
folklore?
Mhm.
That just like came out during COVID. It's just like I don't know. I have like memories surrounding it.
You lay in the dark and cry like I did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Folklore's the existential crisis album. So
Yeah.
I listened to it in my bathtub.
It was summer 2020. We were in a weird it was a weird time.
Yeah.
I was like riding through the woods on a bike in Delaware, just like listening to like The One, you know, crying. Like I don't know.
Yes. When I need to remind myself that I feel things, that's
Yeah.
what I put on.
But I like to know people's power ranking. I think it's like same with like Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I'm always just like, what are your top 3 albums?
Did you see Beyonce? People thought she was going to be at Stagecoach.
Yes.
Yeah, but like I think people just I heard that right when Cowboy Carter came out. Like I just felt like that was people
Thinking.
manifesting just a true rumor.
Trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would have made sense with like Post Malone and just there were a few, Willie Jones. There were people that were like at Stagecoach that were on our album.
Mhm.
So I could see where people made that.
Yeah. And there's like giant horses all over Stagecoach right now.
Oh,
so-
right.
Yeah.
I
Would
thought
make
she was going to
sense.
be there. The
She
real
loves a
star of
horse.
Stagecoach was Kristin Cavallari and Mark Estes.
Kristin just posted. She said, "Cowboy, take me away."
We are fascinated by this relationship. We love it. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Well, not if ever. I don't want to. I
No,
don't want
tell
to
me
take
more.
it away from
I don't
any,
know
if
how
nobody
it
else
started.
cares.
No,
No,
tell
I
us
didn't know how
about
it
I
started.
love Kristin. So
Yeah, we love Kristin. What do you? I know everything. I just like
Ashley says it's her Roman Empire.
uh,
The
well,
Montana boys.
like the whole relationship. I find it so fascinating. Like she's 37, she's a mother of 3, and she's dating this like 24-year-old TikTok lip syncer, you know. And it all started with like the DM slide or whatever. She thought they were they were super hot. They slid into her DMs from like the main account, but it was Mark. And then that just happened from there. But it happened like so quick. I mean, their first date was Valentine's Day. And within 6 weeks, she like hard launched him on her Instagram, on her podcast, like talking about him on the podcast. And now they're in like a full blown relationship. But I'm like, I like the way she speaks about just like, I don't care what you think. Kristin's always just been like, you think I give a fuck? Like her whole energy. She's just like that bitch. And so that's the tone that she's taken. And she's like, men do this all the time. If you want to talk about an age difference, like that's crazy. You wouldn't even blink twice at this age gap with them if the roles were reversed.
Totally.
So I love all of that. But I think what I'm really fascinated by is that like she's really put him on the map. Like he's doing interviews, like he's like on the red carpet and they're doing all this. He's at the CMAs. I mean, with the other 2 Montana boys, but he's like become a celebrity in his own right, like solely because of her.
Yeah.
And them too, and the other 2 boys with a Z. And it's just like he's not media trained. I'll put it lightly. So the interviews are like, what? And then like if I were Kristin, I'd be like, babe, you gotta stay at home. Like, let's just put it back in the box and just be my hot 24-year-old boyfriend. Cause
I'm with you. Like about the media training, like you don't really see an ascension to fame like that ever. Like, oh, he went on his first date with her Valentine's Day and overnight was like a media sensation.
Yeah.
And like most people do like some low level media and interviews, do a couple podcasts no one's ever going to listen to. Like he is like at this level where you could be canceled in a heartbeat. And he's not like trained for this.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, they don't feel prepared. And like, you know, I'm not hurling insults. Like you watch him on podcasts and he's like, you guys are idiots. You know, like he's like, so you guys don't really talk much. You know, like every clip of Mark's, like the comments are like, that man has a way with words. You know, like it's just, they don't have a lot to say.
Well, his
you know?
claim to fame is lip syncing.
Right. That's so fair.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I don't care. Kristin's happy. He's like good to her kids. Like who cares? But I find it interesting that like he is on this ascension to fame, but you know, I think it might be short-lived, the fame there.
I mean, he's
we'll
so
see.
hot though.
Yeah,
so hot.
He's hot.
Like,
Yeah.
just shh, close his mouth.
Yeah. You stay home. No more podcasts for you. But yeah, I like watching it. I'm just invested for a number of reasons, but you know, good for them.
One more thing about Stagecoach. So we all know Bachelor Nation is usually there. And Rachel Nance from Joey's season of The Bachelor potentially soft launches a new man. Well, she posted this Instagram photo, and so everyone is speculating that it's a new boyfriend.
Oh,
Hot.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Comment, the
Ooh.
caption is about last night.
Ooh,
This
spicy.
is a sexy photo.
Right?
We're giving like light choking. I love this.
Well, he has like this big tattooed arm just like across her neck. Oh my God, and that orange hat.
It's
you
giving
know.
Montana boys.
I was going to say, this is the hottest soft launch I think I've ever seen.
Right?
Yeah.
You got boobs and tattoos and a
This-
trucker hat.
This is the like sexiest soft launch of an arm because so many people do an arm, but it's like
like
across
a
the table
hand.
with like a coffee cup.
brunch,
You
yeah.
know, she's like, no, put her on my neck, babe. Like this is good for her. I love her also.
I know.
Yeah,
I think she's
agreed.
so sweet. And, you know, she got a rough go at the end of it. So I'm so happy that she found somebody. And look at him. Look at him. Like, look at that arm.
This guy is.
We haven't even seen his face.
He's lip syncing to Luke Combs on TikTok, but I'm with it.
The last thing about Stagecoach we'll say, and then we'll move on to some Housewives stuff. Apparently, Rachel, was allegedly wearing the same shirt as Ariana used to have, or maybe people are saying it is Ariana's shirt. Do we have a photo of this?
Yeah, let me get it.
Can you imagine if she ran into Ariana at Stagecoach?
Well, that's what I think is so crazy. That's like half of the cast from VPR is there as well. Like everyone that she's had a falling out with.
Right.
Kristin's there. Lala's there. She's lucky Ariana's not there. I mean, it's the same shirt. It may not be her exact like Ariana's shirt, but
Do
that
we
is
have a picture of them. Yeah. So there's Ariana wearing it.
So funny.
Oh, on camera.
from last season.
It's
That is-
probably just like from
A
Revolve.
Revolve shirt,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Rayna and I have this, we'll buy the same thing without even realizing it. Like we all just shop Revolve. And you're going to wear Revolve to Stagecoach. This is not an ad for Revolve, but like everybody sees the same shit on Revolve. Like Revolve did like their Stagecoach collection and she was probably like,
Totally. Yes.
oh, but Ariana wore it before. Yeah, I don't know. That's so interesting.
And to be fair, Bravo stars, like brands send them the same clothes.
Great
so it could have just
call.
been like they each got sent that from
Yeah,
Revolve
their
or
PR
whatever, and
box.
she wore it a year later.
they
Wait,
all
did
were
someone
boys
say where it's
lie.
from?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, I just know it's from Revolve. I put money on it.
I know it's from Revolve. You look at that and you're like, that's a Revolve shirt. They all wear Boys Lie. I feel like Boys Lie has reached out to us. They like to gift.
Yeah.
And like what's cool right now on like the hot for you page on Revolve is just what we all buy.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're all fucking basic, and I'm proud.
There's also like immediate shipping. So I might.
No, don't get me started.
The
It's
convenience.
the best. The returns, the labels in the box, just
Again, not an ad, but
Yeah, somebody found it on Poshmark, I think.
A lot of people think that it is Ariana's shirt
her
because
actual shirt.
one of the comments said, "Where are your t-shirt and pants from?" And Rachel responded just saying, "My pants are from @Serape Blue." So she only commented about the pants.
because you can't find the shirt
Well,
now.
she said, I honestly can't remember where my shirt is from. I think I got it at a random boutique in a mall.
Shut up.
That sounds like a lie.
It's Ariana's
lie.
shirt.
That's where it's like
You guys.
she's trying to cover up.
So
So it's
many
like
details.
Not the mall boutique. Who's even still going to the mall?
Hashtag Simon Malls.
Right. She's like, oh, it's from what's like a
579.
Yeah.
She is still suing Ariana and Tom, correct? Do you know about this, Ashley?
Yes.
Okay. So just
That
like
sounded like a lie, but I swear.
yeah,
I, do. I do know everything.
a year later, she is suing them for revenge porn, and
Yeah.
allegedly the lawsuit came out the day before the statute of limitations
Yes.
expired
Mhm.
on the revenge porn. So I think she is still suing them and doing
Yeah.
her podcast every week, just recapping this. And she's made some interesting decisions.
Well, did you guys, we got tagged in this whole thing. It said what Tom Sandoval said, something about her like using him to make money, essentially, like the whole story. And then he said, but a girl's got to eat. And so I know our podcast
Shut
is
up.
called Girls Got It. We threw it up on our story and we were like, keep our name out your mouth, Tom. But we just got tagged in it like so much because it was like the headline said like a girl's got to
Gotta
eat,
eat.
you
Yep.
know?
Oh, he stole the name of your show.
We're going to sue him now.
Yeah.
We're just going to tack on to the lawsuit.
I feel like Nick and Tyler just like talked to him about us, so we're on his mind. All right. In other Bravo news, Heather Gray is in the news. She addressed her body post Ozempic. The quote is, "I didn't want to show up at another party and see all of my friends 20 pounds thinner and just be resentful. I've sold out. I've given up the banner of, accept yourself. And it's disappointing and sad to know that body positivity was all a big lie.
Oof.
It is better not to be overweight," she says.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is after, so she did a variety appearance right after the season finale where people noticed like she looked a lot different than the episode that just aired. Back then she was like, "I'm not on Ozempic. I just lost a couple pounds." 4 months later, she's like, "Okay, I was on Ozempic."
Yeah.
I mean, I think about this a lot and what information we owe the public. We as, anybody on camera, anybody owes the public about what you're doing for your own body.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I struggle going back and forth thinking like, we don't really owe anybody information, but how damaging is it to say, I lost 40 pounds and it was just stress or diet? And
Mhm.
everybody in America, every single mother in America is like, I'm stressed as fuck.
Yeah.
And I can barely afford food. I don't look like that.
Yeah, that's my line. I think you can always say, that's none of your business. I don't owe you information about my body, but I just don't like when people lie. I mean, it goes back to like someone, getting a BBL and just
Mhm.
saying that they have this workout routine and then selling you the workout routine. Or like, I always thought it was so crazy that Kylie sold those lip kits. She had like the thinnest lips on the planet. And then she just got lip filler and was like, now I'm going to do lip kits. Like, what if I just was out here saying like, guys, I have a nose contour kit. That's why my nose looked like this. Like it just, cause I got a nose job, like it's just kind of the lying and then like selling the lie back to the public is what I really have a problem with. But I also don't think you owe anybody that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, which she goes into it because this was a People magazine interview, and she said like, "I've been bullied for the way I look on the show
Sure.
for being someone that is bigger than her castmates."
Yeah.
And like, so that's where she's conflicted too, because she's like, "I have sold out technically,"
Yeah.
is what she's taking from it.
I feel for her though. I almost feel like it's like Khloe Kardashian who like can't win ever because people like
Mm.
bullied her for so long for being the quote unquote biggest Kardashian, and then she loses all this weight and gets some kind of facial surgery which she's never admitted to, but they all get work done.
Yeah.
And now she's bullied for that. And I feel like, you can't win when you're a
Yeah.
little bigger on TV because of course, you look at Heather next to like Whitney and like she's so tiny and thin. And of course, the whole internet says terrible things about you. I'm not anywhere near as big, Ashley and I, of those people, big famous wives as those people. And people make comments to us about the way we look. So I can't even imagine tenfold what that does to you.
I also feel like everybody does look bigger on camera, and then you see because
Yeah.
it's like we're zoomed in, all of that stuff. Then you meet people in person, you're like, oh my god, you're so
So
tiny,
small.
Yeah.
you know. So I'm like, it's also like an optical illusion So until you meet these people in person, I wouldn't comment on anybody's body to begin with, but I'm just like, to comment on somebody's body based of them being on television and putting themselves out there. It's like, that's already brave enough as it is.
Yeah.
Come for the content that they're putting out there. You don't have to come for like their physical appearance. I think it's just a cheap shot.
It's gross. Like, but to your point, like, that's the camera adds 10 pounds. Yeah, like, hot take. But it's
true.
also why you see people look totally different in a season 2 because they watch themselves back. Like, I find it so sad because you know that people went on TV thinking they looked great.
Yep.
And then they watched it back and were like, I hate myself. And then they get a completely different body or face or whatever it is for season 2. And so I think it's just like,
that's the housewife effect too. Like the second season for every housewife is always a different face.
I feel like it's season 2 to season 3 because I feel like that's when the pay bump goes up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, we are shopping on Rodeo. I get it.
Such a thing. Season 1 faces. It's like such a thing.
I love to see an original face.
Truly
Crazy.
Or like a season 1 of a reality show. It's just like a totally different world.
when everyone looked human.
Yeah.
Like, not airbrushed and perfect.
Yeah.
Well, in season 1 is always like the reality star being like, you have too much face filler, like you have too much work done, and then season 2.
They come back full face filler. Yeah.
I feel for her. I think that it was really brave to say what she said. And I think that like she didn't like volunteer to be anointed as like the pillar of body positivity either. I mean, there's only so long you can say like, I love myself before like people beat you down. Like I feel for her.
I just, the statements are so like honest and vulnerable, and then like you still can't win. It's like we've learned that, and again on just a smaller scale, like you will never please these people. You think you're going to put out the most perfect statement and be so honest and vulnerable, and they're still going to jump down your throat. Like you really can never win. So like, why try?
Yeah, I think you're pandering to people that are already doing something you wouldn't do. I would never comment on a woman's body on the internet.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know. I was like just reading about like. I was getting into like this Sophia Bush stuff and like her Ashlyn Harris, is that her name? And just the way that the things that people feel comfortable like saying to them. Just like, man, people are just it's tough out there.
I mean, it's easy to be brave to say something to somebody where it's like a bunch of comments and whatnot. So you're like, oh, let me add mine. And it's just like, why? I mean, people already have it tough enough as it is. Like, I'm like, nobody needs to sit here and hear your opinion. Like, you know, you would look really great if you just lost 5 pounds. Like, okay, where are you right now? Like, probably sitting on a couch somewhere, not losing 5 pounds either. So why are you coming at me?
Amen.
Absolutely. Last
I feel
thing.
passionate.
So do I.
Yeah, we can talk about this forever.
Yeah.
Stuff that people feel comfortable writing about other people, strangers on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I didn't know you 2 seconds ago, so why do I care about your opinion? But suddenly I'm like feeling bad about myself because this person.
Yeah.
Also, nice to meet you.
It's actually bad to meet you.
Truly.
Can you just talk about me on Reddit behind my back?
Yes, like an adult.
Well, and now you have like Bravo stars not even watching the shows back, or like not watching the internet. Because like that's the only way they protect their peace, which is interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you have a right to. Like, you don't get to come into my house and say terrible things to me. My internet house.
Yeah.
Of my DMs. Last thing out of Real Housewives, Taylor Armstrong says that she has stopped watching Housewives essentially because she hates the fighting, which is the central theme of Housewives.
Yeah.
I stopped watching mostly the Beverly Hills girls because I love them all so much and hate watching them fight. Is that what she means?
Yeah. So she said, I stopped watching mostly the Beverly Hills girls because I love them all so much, and watching them fight. She said, I know what that anxiety feels like when you're in that situation, when you're fighting with your friends on camera, and it's just so much pressure. And I was like, I can't watch this.
It's funny that she says that because the most like iconic clip of all time from Real Housewives
Her going
ever
like this.
is her leaping across the table screaming at somebody. But you know, she has lost a lot.
Yeah,
So
especially on the show too.
On the show, I can't imagine the trauma that you take through the rest of your life from that. And so I understand her being like, I can't watch this. This is like too much
Just
for me.
triggering.
Yeah.
Right? Just like re-traumatizing. I mean,
She's also been on the show, I feel like, on and off for like over a decade. So it's also one of those things too where I'm like, I feel like you kind of have to grow out of that. You know what I mean? Where I feel like looking back at it, you're like, well, it's kind of catty. It's unnecessary. Like I've grown. I don't even think I can watch that, let alone like put myself back in that mindset. Because it's just not healthy. You know, I love Housewives, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, if I had been doing it for 10 years, I'd be like watching other people go at it. I'd be like, maybe not.
Yeah. You like soak it in a weird way.
Right.
I don't know. It even goes back to like the hate comments on the internet and stuff like that. Like because I have such an aversion to it. I completely don't ever read anything about me if I can avoid it. I would never. It like seeps in your brain. You can't get it out. You think you just think you might be able to, but you can't. None of us are equipped to deal with that. So like I avoid any sort of like hate that we get as much as I can, but I don't like to read it about other people too because I feel like I'm a part of it. That I'm
Right.
like a part of the toxicity. I don't know. It's like a different topic, but I've been thinking about that recently where like someone sent me some like influencer snark thread about somebody else, not about myself.
Right.
Like, that like all those things are going on Reddit. And I just started to read part of it and I just felt like so icky and I like put it away, even though it wasn't about me, even though I love like gossip and shit talk. I just was like, I feel like I'm a part of the problem.
Sometimes
or
it goes
something.
too far.
Yeah. And I'm like
know?
triggered by it in a weird way. So it makes sense why if you would be like, I just can't even watch it. I don't know.
I was wondering what you thought about this because I was trying to articulate this. I enjoyed like this section of Bravo, and we'll get into it, that's a little more like Summer House and Vanderpump versus Real Housewives. Real Housewives feels like it's mean manufactured drama because they're not as involved in each other's lives as like Summer House and Vanderpump. The drama's a little more natural to me because they're friends day to day. They travel together. When the show's over, they're really intertwined in each other's lives. And Housewives feels a little less so like that. And it is a different generation of people, of course, and they all have like adult children. But it feels like on Housewives, the fighting is like manufactured sometimes in a way that's really mean. Like somebody's standing there with a cue card saying like, bring up Dorinda's drinking. Or like, let's talk about Kyle and Mauricio's affair. Like it feels like they brought up Kyle having an affair in her home when her children were there. Like it feels disgusting to me and more manufactured maybe than the other shows.
Yeah. I do think Bravo's noticed that too, because like we're in a period where the past seasons of every housewife show was like very toxic. So now they're in like this rebranding like era of seeing where they go with casting, and that's where we have like Beverly Hills hasn't fully casted yet, or like Potomac just did it, or like Atlanta took 2 years to do it. Not really, but like a long time. So like that's what they were noticing, I think, is that it's gone so toxic that even the housewives don't want to come back.
Yeah, it feels like they pick a person every season that's just going to be the target, whereas like I don't know, like Vanderpump and Summer House to me feels just a little more like these people are involved in each other's lives. I'm watching conversations with these people that like they really know each other on a deep level and they're really friends.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like an ensemble cast.
Right.
It's just like placed together.
Yeah.
I've also been noticing a trend with reality TV in general where they're like breaking the third wall a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with Housewives, they're not doing that yet.
Oh, okay.
Did you call it the third
don't know.
wall?
She did, but
what did I?
It's
what
the
did
fourth
I-
wall.
Fourth
That's,
wall.
Oh
that's
my
okay.
gosh.
How
I was
are we supposed to
How
know?
do we know how many walls there are? Honestly,
Oh my god.
What are 1 through 3?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, you're breaking the
brain
wall.
is not here.
It's your wall, my wall, and Justin's wall. That's the fourth wall.
Listen, I'm all the way over here in my
That's
fourth
what it is.
wall.
Oh, is that what it is?
The fourth wall
Oh,
is
no.
like all the cameras, all the lights. Like people only see the studio set. They don't see the behind
Oh,
the
that's
scene.
what it is? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you meant like we each had our own angle. I'm like, what about Sierra?
I always
Okay.
thought of it like as like a theater. Like if you're on stage in a theater, you have the wings and then you have your set behind you, but it's like breaking the fourth is like into the audience.
Right. Okay. You're just talking to the
Yeah.
cameras or the audience
Yeah,
in a Broadway sense.
Literally
Okay.
studied theater in college. I can't believe I just said that.
I thought I misheard it. I was like, wait, third? I was like,
Anyway,
I know,
I feel
I was like,
they're
I'm just used to like triangular stages. You guys might not know.
So funny.
Well,
I'm
I'm
not
like,
good
it's
at
your
math and I
show.
don't know my shapes.
No,
And I
you're
was like,
right.
who's going to say it? I'm new around here. I can't
Not
correct
me.
it.
I know. We're like, it's your show.
You guys
We're
are
not
all
gonna
looking
correct
at me
you.
and I was like, did I say something weird?
Leia, have you ever listened to like sexy stories?
I have, but only with Dipsy. I'm very selective.
Okay. Hey, we're always looking for reasons to spice up our relationship, are we not? You know, listen, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time, let's just keep it real. Sometimes things get stale and ordinary. And a great way to spice it up is with our friends at Dipsy. Dipsy is an app full of hundreds of short, spicy audio stories. They bring the scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and realistic characters. Discover stories about second chance romances, adventurous vacation flings, and hot and heavy hookups. What's your favorite little story? What's
I like fairy smut.
you like fairy smut?
Fairy smut.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
there's something for everyone,
Something for
including fairy smut. Also, it could be Greek gods and goddesses, Regency era historical fiction, that fairy smut that Leia is so fond of.
Mm-hmm.
New content is released every week. So, in between listening to your favorite stories again and again, you can always find new things to explore. Listen, we got to try new things in a relationship. You got to sometimes get the engine going, get warmed up. That's the great thing about Dipsy. It frees your mind. It allows you to think like, oh my God, I can't believe we're even talking about this. Like, oh my God, is this okay? But like sometimes it can be fun. It gives us a little idea. It's a great way to spice things up in the bedroom and or if
by
you're
yourself.
alone or by
Mhm.
yourself. If you need a little like a rom-com, romance, and you just want to have some quality time with yourself, the bathtub, and whatever else you might have in the arsenal, bring Dipsy into the bedroom
Absolutely.
and make it fun.
Bring it on vacation.
Something
Bring it to the bedroom.
Wherever you want.
Wherever you want to
Something
go.
for everyone. For listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/VIALL. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/VIALL. dipsystories.com/VIALL. Caraway! I can't say enough of great things about Caraway. We have 2 different Caraway sets at our house. We also have some Caraway bakeware. We have the stainless steel set, and then we have the more traditional ceramic set. Well, the best thing about Caraway, there's so many great things about Caraway. Number 1, it's safe. Chemical-free. Caraway products are made without any of those toxic materials like PFAS, PTFEs, PFOAs. They're hard to pronounce. They're not good for you. And the most important thing is they're not in any Caraway cookware. That is great to know. So their ceramic, naturally slick surfaces mean that it's very easy to clean. So easy to cook eggs on. The cleaning, again, they truly are easy to clean, great to cook on. You can cook anything on them. I can cook anything on their ceramic set, the stainless steel, me being the fancy chef that I am, I do like to use some stainless steel cookware now and then. And my Caraway has it all. Everything I need in the kitchen, from cookware to bakeware, Caraway has it, and I've been a Caraway customer for years. I'm cooking 5-6 days a week, so take my word for it. I'm very picky when it comes to my cookware. I'm a snob. I'm a snob in the kitchen. I'm a snob with my suits. There's certain areas in life I am a snob. When it comes to cooking, definitely a snob. Over 65,000 other people have rated Caraway 5 stars. So, you can trust it.
I just got a Caraway set.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a baby and I've decided that I want to make my house less toxic. So I decided to switch my cookware and I've just started using Caraway and I love it.
Isn't it great?
It's so easy to use. My eggs don't stick to the pan.
And it looks great in your kitchen.
Oh, it's
What
stunning.
color do you have?
I have white.
You have the white ones.
Yeah, and
Very
it's
nice.
stunning. Absolutely stunning. I have it out on display.
Yeah, you absolutely can do that. They also come in this little storage container, because sometimes in your cabinets you stack your pots, pans, and they're all over the place. This comes with almost like
I
some
have that.
sectionals. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Well, if you are in the market for some great cookware, look no further than Caraway. And just as a reminder, their iconic cookware set comes with the saute pan, a fry pan, a Dutch oven, and saucepan. Plus lids for all of them, a canvas lid holder, and magnetic pan racks for storage. It's the ultimate kitchen setup and will save you $150 versus buying them individually. Plus, if you visit carawayhome.com/VIALL10, you can take an additional 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/VIALL10 or just use code VIALL10 at checkout. Again, Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
What I love about Summer House, Vanderpump, and The Valley, and we are so blessed, all 3 of these episodes this week, unbelievable, is they have to break the fourth wall. They can't not talk about what's happening without addressing that, they are in the news. People are going to podcasts to talk about them. You can't talk about Vanderpump without talking about that. And Summer House... Should we get into Summer House?
Let's
do it.
So one of the most interesting things is we open up the episode this week with Carl and Lindsay kind of finalizing their discussion about money and who makes what and who's going to stay home and what. And I think that the conversation, and you guys talked about this the last week, it's sort of interesting because they refuse to break the fourth wall, the 2 of them, and acknowledge that they do have jobs. They're on TV. That's their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. But I will say I loved Carl finally saying, we have the same job. Rayna and I have been screaming, for weeks, you have the same job.
Literally.
But he finally said basically, okay, well, she makes 150 and I make
You make
70 or
70.
something like
Yeah.
that. But that's negligent to then they make the same on the show or
Yeah.
something. So it's she's just had a few more brand deals this year. I don't know. I just love that he finally said the thing that we've all been screaming as viewers of what do you're on? This is your job. I don't know. It's so funny.
I agree. And I think they probably make a pretty, I would guess in the at least 300,000 each a season, which is not bad for a summer of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing, but I do see outside of that a lot of the castmates on all these shows have opened up their own thing and have used this Craig launched the pillow company and Kyle
Danielle's
launched
a CEO and founder.
she did have that launch party for that app.
Who knows what?
You guys, I looked it up.
Of what?
It is this, it's this
It's an
fashion.
app.
Yeah, it's an app.
But I
it's
don't
just-
I don't know what it
Well,
does.
let's save it. Let's save it. I just had to throw it in there because we got to talk. We're gonna have a full Danielle
But they,
deep dive.
I mean, it's interesting because they don't really acknowledge, like, they both have the same job. They make the same amount of money. I mean, they live in an apartment that they said is what, like
16.
12 or $15,000 a month.
Yeah, it's
Insane.
expensive.
I mean, they're not struggling, but I think the real conversation is like, what's the plan here when this is over? Because how many more seasons of this are we eking out?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Lindsay's talking longevity and like or not consistency was
Well, Lindsay made it.
security.
Yeah, and Lindsay
Yeah.
made it very clear that she's like, I don't really want to work.
Mhm.
Like, I want to stay home, be a mom, and you provide the security.
Yeah, and Carl is shocked because like this is the first time that they're having this conversation, but they're engaged.
Well, so okay, but I wanted to ask you guys because then she was on the after show, or she was on Watch What Happens Live, and then she was like, she almost walked it back a little. She was like, I mean, you guys know me. I can't not work. I'm a busybody. What I meant was, then it kind of seemed like all she meant was like mat leave. You know, like she was like, if I, push out this big baby and then I have to like I feel like she was trying to say like, and then I got to take care of my pussy. But like, I don't know if she was, I mean, Lindsay can, she can twist things and manipulate things. So
yeah.
in the show taping, she could have really been giving off, hey, I want to stay at home and never work again. And then she's trying to walk it back and Watch What Happens Live. So it was like hard to tell and hard to like take her at her word, obviously. But I was unclear if she doesn't, I don't know. To me, I'm like, Lindsay would still be bringing in money. Then she would turn into like a mommy influencer. Like she would still be like working. So I think like it's probably somewhere in the middle and not like stay at home mom. I don't make a dime. And then like, I'm only talking about those 3 months postpartum. I don't know. It was hard to tell.
As a publicist, like, can you represent yourself?
Is she a publicist?
But
was,
originally
yeah.
she was like a
Clubhouse.
Yeah, had her own firm and everything. That's why I was like, wouldn't it be even more beneficial to still have your PR firm, but then represent yourself too and get all the brand deals you want?
Right. It sounds like that's kind of what she's doing. I mean,
Well, it says influencer on her.
Now she no longer has her PR firm. So
Well, she hasn't had that in a long time. It's
Yeah.
time to take that
she's
down.
not a
But
CEO and founder anymore.
the thing that like I'm very rarely on her side. I heard her on the show. I was like screaming in the car, like, that's not true. Nick, ask her the real reason this is happening.
Yeah.
But the only time I'm like really on her side during this is like, we all want to look at our partner and be like, I'm proud of you.
yeah.
I feel like excited by what you have going on. I'm
Mhm.
proud of what you do day to day. We all want to look at our partner and think that they're the best thing. So like, I think she's also saying like, I'd like to feel proud of you. That would turn me on.
Right.
Yeah. She's also downplaying though, like sobriety is a big thing to be proud of for him, especially right now. But she's like, in her eyes, that's kind of like a backseat. I feel like.
She's like, we did sobriety.
Yeah.
We
She's
did
like,
that.
you already did that.
We did that
next
last
thing."
year.
Yeah. The relationship this is my other Roman empire. Like I remember seeing the post that the engagement was called off. I remember like staying at Soho House and I got to tell Rayna for the first time ever. Like I was like, I just, you text your best friend, like their name, period. And they're
Yeah.
like, what happened? And she was like working
She's, like,
out
on
at
the
the time. She's
Peloton
like on the
with Bob.
Peloton. So I like got to break the news to her. I was like, what a rush, So I'm like very invested. I've watched the show for years and just like, we talk about relationships for a living. So I just am obsessed with relationships and breakups in general. And it was just like, this was so poorly matched from the start, And so watching it unravel and then hearing her go on a media tour and talk about why, and then Carl just staying mom the whole time and being like, you guys are going to see. It's just been very fascinating. But these, the first 2 episodes, I couldn't like believe Lindsay. Like, and I feel like the internet, like the vitriol against her was justified. I think Lindsay really exhibits narcissistic tendencies. I don't want to like call her a straight up narcissist, but like, I think you see a lot of that and like an unwillingness to accept blame and a little bit of a superiority complex and like all the things. And I think that like the sobriety is not a match. I think she still wants to get really drunk and can be a bad drunk and he's completely sober. Like everything is just not there for me. And we're
Yeah.
obviously watching it unravel in, quote unquote real time. But
I think they
it's not a
like
hot take.
the idea of like, you've been under my nose the whole
Yeah.
time. We're meant
Yeah.
for each other. And especially being best friends, like you would just assume that would just fall into place. But I'm like, they've already tried the relationship before.
It was like such a shit show before.
Right. So then it's like, this isn't as shocking. And I think with Lindsay being sober in the beginning of their relationship with him, I think they both felt, like his dad said, like felt very supported and kind of even keeled. And now it's like this tiptoeing around, I don't want to tell you who to be and how to act in public or how much you can have to drink. But at the same time, it's like even seeing the comments that she made in the previous episodes of what are you on and whatnot. And we're like, okay, so you're not providing a safe space for each other
No.
at all, and also to bring it on the show where I've always said that to her. I'm like, you guys are only filming on the weekends. So it's like, you know that this is like, I don't know, that just like looks really bad. But then it's also just like, I know that this is their truth as well. But I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just like a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she came on the show, I listened to her talk, I've listened to her on the after show. She really does not see how crazy that behavior was. And Ashley and I watch so much reality TV where we're friends with a lot of these people. And so we understand that behind the scenes, there's tons of context removed. There's things you don't see. And we've heard people re-explain scenes to us. And we're like, oh my God, that is like really not what was put out to the public.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, it really just seems like this is actually what was happening. And she still is like, couples fight. That's what they do. Like, as if it's normal and everybody behaves like this.
I died at the Watch What Happens Live when she was supposed to come up with 5 things she's learned about herself watching back. Watching Andy be like, what? Wow. And then he was like, this is the self-reflection for me, or like something like that. Like he kind of threw some shade, because I feel like it was like the hugest thing would have been like the way she, treated her partner at the time on those first few episodes. And you would have thought she would have taken a note. And she was just like, I don't know, I should be a race car driver. I feel like people were like, ah! Like it was wild.
Well, the stuff that she
I
takes,
couldn't get over it.
I'm with you, because like there's like A to C, and I never understand what her B is. Like I never understand how she gets from A to C, because like when she talks about like accusing him of being on drugs, what she says is, my words were really harsh. My words shouldn't have been, no, you shouldn't have accused your partner of being on drugs on national television.
Yeah.
Right.
Your words weren't harsh. The idea is disgusting that you did this.
And he was owed a genuine apology. Like she won't say I'm sorry. I mean, again, you can. I'm not going to diagnose personality disorder.
She apologizes for her word choice, but not what she was trying to say.
Yeah,
It's like the I'm sorry you felt that
yes.
way.
I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry you got so mad.
I'm sorry if
that I called you
thought-
Cocaine Carl on TV. Like, geez.
It's interesting to not be able to like take some space and really see what happened here. And I'm speaking as a person who, my fiance left me. I was engaged. He left me the day after our engagement party.
Wow.
I was fucking pissed. I was really mad. And years later, I can look back and say, like, I don't like what he did, but I understand why he did it. I understand that our dynamic was not great. This did not have the makings of a long-term partnership. I don't see that from Lindsay. I don't see that that's ever going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's like, it was so funny. This was 2 weeks ago, but kind of all still plays in of her with his whole job situation. And she was like, I just, it would really turn me on if you were to, like, she kept using that language. I feel like she thought that was her tactic of like telling him like it's a turn off that you don't have a quote unquote job, but and I'm like, you guys don't have sex. Yeah. Like, I feel like this was the wrong avenue to go down. Like, I feel like it's like, what do you mean turn you on? We haven't fucked in like months. Like, it was just kind of funny that was the avenue she took. Cause it's like, we're talking about 2 people that don't have a sex life to speak of.
Right. Rated 2.5.
Yeah. He's like, well, I don't care what turns you on, Lindsay. We haven't been fucking. But then
I've
she's
gone
probably
by
like,
this
but that's
far."
why. She's like, that's why. Get a job and we'll start fucking again.
Literally.
I don't know. I just found it pretty
The
interesting.
leveraging.
I will say I didn't like Danielle. Like I disliked Danielle more than I disliked Lindsay this episode.
Well,
Yeah, what's to like? This is crazy.
Crazy.
I think, and I want to credit, like, I think Comments by Celeb said this, that like last season she looked a little more sympathetic because she's up against Lindsay, who's always going to be meaner and louder.
Yep.
But this season she's up against Paige and Gabby and Amanda, who are just nice and asking her to be kind.
Yeah. Everything she's doing is unlikable. And from a viewer standpoint, I think that's the general consensus. So like, this isn't me slamming her. It's just like, from what we know, what makes someone like a likable, sympathetic character, she's doing all the opposite things.
If you want to be a wing woman for your friend, then in a party of 200 people, don't go for the same balloon guy.
Yeah.
You know?
In those jeans, that's what we're fighting about.
Oh, and then when she said like, as a CEO and founder, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, you're never going to recover from this.
No.
And then I love that Paige was like, but she's not your employee, like,
right?
But do you even have employees? What's your company? Like, Paige's one-liners. I mean, we think
I
Paige
love
gets
her.
funnier every episode, and we're friends with her, and we love her. And it's just like she is. I'm just waiting for what she's going to say
Me too.
all the time.
Second to none. And she's so tough in a sweet way. Like, she's like, your friend is crying in the shower, and Danielle's like, I don't accept this. I don't care. And Paige is like, you just don't care about that. You're just gonna flatline, just be like, I don't care about this. This is crazy. Like, Paige just like really held her like feet to the fire, and I loved it.
And Danielle was like, no, what I'm going to do is go get Balloon Guy and shoot a softcore porn in my bedroom. Guys, they showed
my
a lot
God.
of ass.
I saw that.
I was crazy. I was like, is her pussy about to come out. Like, it was a lot.
That's what I said. I turned to my boyfriend and I go, am I conservative? What is happening? Because I'm genuinely shocked.
Wait, I watched with my boyfriend too, and he was like, do they usually show this much? I'm like, no.
Okay, but they go in and out of doing it. Do you remember season 1, Lindsay and Everett, she does get like naked and get on top of him. Like, I feel like that's how they like to close out so many episodes. It's all the black and white footage of everybody just getting naked and getting into bed. It's crazy.
But you
that
usually
was the
don't
top.
see full, nudity. And then he went down on her right away.
I was like, did this man know when he signed the waiver? Like, I was like, we're going to see all of you, sir.
He was like, you're about to see what this mouth can do besides blowing balloons up. Like, I was so dead.
The fact that you would get into a fight with your friend, who, by the way, you've already fucked her boyfriend.
Yes.
Do you remember last
Right.
That's the crazy
yeah,
part.
their whole dynamic is like, it's already
They're not
kind of
friends.
It's
fraught.
messy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the backstory is that Gabby had a boyfriend who cheated on her with Danielle, and they didn't know each other back then. But you're going to let this friendship break down because you need this balloon guy's dick so bad, in those jeans. He showed up in those torn up jeans, and I was like, immediate ick.
Well, yeah, but Gabby said on Watch What Happens Live, once he showed up, she got the ick and didn't like him anymore. Yeah, which I love that. I thought she was also very funny on the Watch What Happens Live. I think she was like very honest and yeah, I'm a fan of
Gabby's actually my favorite this season. Not gonna lie, her like confessionals. I'm just like, you kill me with just like one sentence of just a wrap up of what I just saw.
Yes.
She's really come into her own this season.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying her. I liked her on the after show. I like her and Lindsay's dynamic together. I like her, and it made me really, I felt for her because like Danielle, and I don't know, maybe you guys saw this a different way than I did, but Danielle's like, I want to be your wing woman. Let's like go out, meet dudes. I want to push you to like flirt and get out there. And I don't know how much behind the scenes Gabby is like complaining about being single and saying how sad it is for her, but I don't get that she is somebody who's like begging for help from somebody. And I felt almost like it was unfair to keep being like, get out there, flirt with this guy. You need to do this. And she's like, I don't actually need to. I don't need your life.
Yeah.
Do you think I saw that the wrong way?
No. Sometimes also though, like I don't like to dissect too much because a lot of it's just drunk.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you're just like,
True.
you know, we've all been there where you're like such a big deal. Like I think that I saw some comments that were saying the next day apology didn't really fit the offense, but I'm also like, I don't even think everybody remembers all the details of it. Like
They say they don't remember it.
Yeah, like I think it was just like we've all just been in those things that seem like the biggest blow up in the world. Everyone's crying and you're all wasted, and then the next day it was like, yeah, that was so embarrassing. Sorry, let's hug it out. Like I don't think that it really was that misplaced. I think this was just like a big drunk fight.
Yeah.
Oh, what I mean is they were in the car on the way to the house, sober, and she's saying to Gabby, I think you should get out there more, and like in the confessionals they're saying, I'm just trying to like push her and facilitate this.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I guess I get like a little bit of that because I'm single and I hate when people say to me like, well, you're just picking the wrong guy. And I'm like,
Totally.
I wasn't asking for
I
your
wasn't
opinion.
asking.
I am not complaining about being single. It'd be different if I was like, I'm so alone and so sad, and people were like, here's my advice.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a little projection, but I hate when people are like, you should fuck that guy. You should get out there. You should flirt with them. And I'm like, I'm an adult. I've lived a lot of years and I'm all fucking sad.
That's actually a great call. Like that is there are two types of people in this situation. One that's like actually asking for your advice and input, and one that's like, I'm fine. I didn't ask. So when people just really like push their advice on you.
Especially because Gabby said how her father even is being like, who are you dating? Like you need to date, you need to do this. So like everybody's perpetuating this like it's not okay to be single idea.
Right.
But also who gives you the authority to point out who I should be hooking up with and be like, you're failing. You're failing if you don't. It's like, I'm not into it.
Yeah. Did you see the jeans?
Yeah.
Guys, please, look at me and then look at, no, I'm not doing, I don't want that balloon guy.
And just because your idea of like pulling some ass at the club tonight is your idea of fun, that doesn't mean it's mine.
True.
Yeah.
And it's not, if you get self-worth from it, like walking into the club, taking the hottest guy home, that's fine. That's not where everybody derives their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Thank you so much.
Guys, can we talk about Old Navy Spawn?
Oh, that was
The second they walked in, I was like, Old Navy. Old Navy.
I was like, I was watching it with my boyfriend who's like not in this world. And the second they showed like a shot of the, like the signage,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is unreal. And I was like, this is paid. He was like, what are you saying? I'm like, no, just wait. And then they ran the ad on Instagram. But I was like dead. Like the fact that they were like, well, okay, Sierra, you got to pick up this fucking cardigan you never wear. And Amanda, go get a floppy hat. And then you girls recap over the racks at Old Navy. And this is like no shade to Old Navy, but like they wouldn't go there to talk. Like you wouldn't go to
These are three
hey guys, let's go to Old Navy on 6th Ave and then chat it up. Like I was like, this is so nuts. And like, yeah, I'm sorry, like they aren't they aren't shopping there. This is like no shade, but they went there as if it was a coffee shop to talk.
You know
They
who
were
they
there
are?
for
They're
a
Revolve
hot minute.
girls.
Huh?
They're Revolve girls.
Yes,
Like, they're
exactly.
not Old Navy.
No, they're legitimate fashion icons. All three of them.
Yes, it was the 3 most fashionable women.
like on all of Bravo.
Yes,
And they're
Paige.
like, put him next to the cardigan rack at Old Navy.
What did Paige think about? I mean, like Paige, she was like, I gotta go to Old Navy and shoot. Like she's like, I know I do Amazon, but this is a different thing.
But like Amazon, at least there's like good dupes, good
Yeah.
finds. Old Navy's just Old Navy.
I love Old Navy though. I'm an Old Navy stan.
No.
Their deals.
This isn't like shade. I don't want to sound like elitist. Like I love an Old Navy too. Like I've been in that Old Navy in Chelsea. Like it's just it
was random.
It felt so, you knew it was
There was
it
the
felt
lack of
yours.
reality on reality TV.
And like when Sierra picked up that thing, I'm like, no, Sierra is gonna have her titties out, and she's not wearing that. You know,
she
like,
is the anti-cardigan. I've
Yeah.
never not seen her titties out. You can't cover up that body.
Like,
Get outta here.
it felt forced because they shot that scene for them to catch up
Yep.
and tell Amanda what they thought of her. Like it wasn't.
That was
You would never go do that.
No.
You know, like
do you think you have an identity outside of this Old Navy? Like, no.
Amanda's like, I'm just feeling really like attacked at this Old Navy right now. I could really use a performance, please, to wrap up in and feel safe.
And meanwhile, Amanda's talking about her new fashion brand that she wants to start.
Oh my god!
And Old
her
Navy.
swimsuit.
While trying on the big jacket at Old
Yeah.
Navy, that is so funny. It felt like the most forced product placement I've ever seen on a television show. It's even if you're at home drinking something or like you're wearing it, but like to take them to the store. Also, it's a show about the Hamptons. They're like, you're gonna be in Manhattan. You're gonna go to this Old Navy.
It's just the B-roll of the Old Navy. I couldn't get over. And then at the very end, again, I'm like watching my boyfriend who still is like so not in this world, like reality TV or in like brand wise, you know. And I was like, they're gonna do a shot at the end, watch. And like sure enough, it panned out and there's that Old Navy. And I was like, see, I told you. And then an hour later, the ad pops up on Instagram. Like I couldn't get over it. And then I'm like, I really hope these girls got some of that money because like they were probably like, we had to go to the Old Navy. Again, no shade.
No, I used to spend a lot of time in that building. I'd go to the Bed Bath & Beyond. I'd go to the Marshalls in the
Yeah, it's
basement.
not
you lose
about that.
service. Yeah.
I mean, I like Express is like going bankrupt. It's like crushing my soul. Like I love these brands. These are like my brands that I grew up on. Like it's no shade. It was just very funny.
It's like weird product placement. Like we're back in the movies kind of
It was
thing where it's
extreme.
like, oh, that Mountain Dew. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
It was a pretty public place to accuse your friend of having no identity outside of
Yeah.
her husband.
I wanted to hear what you guys all thought because she seemed to take it
Yes.
with like love, but
Mhm.
I've seen mixed reviews. So I
would've
was
cried.
curious what the household thought.
I would have cried, but I think it was a good thing for her to hear it because I think it was one of the things she needed to hear it for what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To like realize it.
And I feel like it shows just like that they're real friends. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
sometimes like
Yeah.
where I'm like, maybe I wouldn't receive that as well. But if we've been friends for a long time and I know that you have my best interest
Yes.
at heart, then I'm like, I'd prefer you to be direct with me than beat around the bush. And if you think that it's going to help me grow as a person, which I mean, clearly Amanda does feel like she wants to have her own things,
Yeah.
but we've never heard her talk about it either up until now. So like maybe even that was like a push that she
Yeah.
needed.
Mhm.
I think it's all about like how somebody receives feedback.
Mhm.
And like I'm the kind of person like if my best friends would know this that like if they're gonna give me like negative feedback or not negative feedback but like
Constructive
constructive
criticism?
criticism, like I want it flowery, but I love you, but you're amazing. You know what I mean? And then there are people who just need to hear it
To be fair, I
the
kind of
way.
feel like Sierra and Paige took the like angel and devil on the side because you
Mm-hmm.
had Sierra that was like, who are you outside of Kyle? And then you have Paige that was like, but I think if you saw you the way that I saw you, you would thrive. You know what I mean? So I kind of
was
feel like
nice.
they were both kind of like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they knew what the conversation was going to be. But Sierra's like, nope, this is how I am direct. And Paige was like, but just know we love you and we just think you deserve more, which
Well, I think most people, if you're going to give that type of feedback, you need to also wrap it in compliments that are
I
genuine, of
agree.
course. Like, I think they were like, you're brilliant and you're creative.
Mhm.
And like, and that's true. Yeah, like that coming from Danielle would have been a different story. She would have been
Right.
like, as a CEO and founder, I think that you just don't have a life outside of your husband's brand. But,
But I
I
think
think they
about-
were like, you're amazing.
I think about like you and my relationship because we're best friends. Like, you and I are at the level where we could give each other that type of feedback. Those girls are best friends outside of the show. Like we've spent
Right.
time with them together. They do have like a really fun, close friendship. I'm sure Amanda has said a lot. I don't feel like I have an identity
Totally.
outside of him. Like she opened the door to it and like, listen, if you said that to me, I feel like it would hurt my feelings, but I'd know that it was coming from the person like knows me the best, that is the most qualified to have that discussion with me.
Yeah, and people lose themselves in relationships. I'm not saying that she's completely lost, like, but you don't know it if you're in it, or you wouldn't make that choice. So sometimes it just is like a slow drip and it happens over time, and you need the people closest in your life to check you a little bit and be like, I think you've kind of lost who you are, and we'd love to like see you get it back. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was mean spirited.
Yeah.
Obviously at all.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I also felt like I was surprised by like how much Amanda like actually has done for like Loverboy, because I feel like Kyle's always like, woe is me, I do everything. And it was like, she kept your life afloat while you were starting a business, which is like epically hard to do, let alone get it off the ground. Loverboy's super successful.
Yeah.
She designed the boxes, like without the merch, like without Amanda, there is no Loverboy.
Limoncello,
You know?
her idea.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to talk about Vanderpump in a second, but it reminds me of what Sheena says about Brock, which is like, I may make more money than him, but none of this exists without him, essentially. And that's kind of how you want Kyle to look at Amanda, which is like, maybe I bring home the bigger paycheck because I own the company, essentially. I'm the founder, but like none of it exists at all without Amanda.
Yeah. I mean, working with your, spouse in their case, but partner, like, I don't know how people do it. Working together and being married and living in an apartment in New York, I can't even believe it. Like, I couldn't do it.
It's too much.
It couldn't be me. Like, so props to them for even surviving the gauntlet of those things. I think it's shocking.
That's how I end up on Snapped. Like,
Totally.
genuinely.
So, I mean, who knows what's
Ashley and I run two businesses together. We're obviously platonic. We're not romantic, but we run two businesses together. We have a very similar friend group. We spend a lot of time together. To also go home at night together, I can't even imagine. No breaks ever.
No decompress.
Last thing about Summer House I want to talk about is Carl's discussion with his parents.
Stepdad Lou went in.
That was a lot for a step parent. I don't know that my stepdad would do that. I loved it.
I thought it was also sweet. He referred to them as his parents.
Yeah.
My boyfriend like flagged them. He was like, is that weird? Like, because it's newer. And I was like, no, it feels like he must have stepped into a father role to where Carl respects his opinion. I thought it was really sweet.
I don't know if I ever knew that he was a minister or if I'd forgotten, but at the beginning of the conversation, I was like, oh, is he overstepping? But then he felt even more qualified to speak on a marriage as someone who marries people. So it was like, it came from this parental, but also professional place. And I don't know. I'm curious if that is the breakup like next week? Like, is this the final nail in the coffin? Was the parent conversation? I was trying to figure it out if this is like
it must be coming up.
You're watching Carl like digest it in real time, I guess. I mean, who knows what's real, but it just felt like he has doubled down on his commitment to this relationship. I felt like until that conversation, I feel like his like you could feel his tone change towards it or something.
I also think it was the conversation with Lindsay as well that he was like, I don't know what you want for the future, and we're about to get married, and I don't know if these are immediate red flags. Like, do we continue on? So I feel like he was kind of like, oh, and then his dad or his stepdad doubled down with like, I wouldn't marry you guys. If somebody said that to me, I would be really reconsidering my life decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have a conversation with someone and you're like seeking advice, but you also know what they're going to say and like, what the right decision is, but you just need to hear it from the people who you love most and trust most. That's what this conversation kind of felt like to me. It was like he knows what the right decision is, but he needs to have this conversation with his parents to reconfirm it. And like, I kind of felt like while he did get emotional, there was like a little bit of relief from him where he was like, they agree with me. Like, this isn't right.
Yeah, I mean, his mom is the person's opinion I think he holds the highest in regard. And I thought this was like a beautiful, kind conversation. They weren't like throwing grenades at Lindsay either. Her mom was like, I care about her. In general, generally speaking, these things are not good.
Well, I want to ask you guys, because I think the main critique I'm seeing that got brought up from Gabby, even on Watch What Happens Live, is just everybody saying he's talking about his relationship with everyone but Lindsay. And like, I don't disagree, but I'm also like, but that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. I don't know. It's just like you have to unpack this with other people to even figure out how you feel about a situation. So it doesn't feel insidious. It feels like he's trying to find the answers and he's not going around talking shit and not bringing something up to her. I think he's trying to figure out if he's supposed to stay in this relationship. But I feel like I'm seeing a lot of that commentary.
Oh, interesting. Because I feel like I'm just guessing. Behind the scenes, I'm assuming you do talk to your partner a little bit. And if your partner is gaslighting you and I'm not saying I am. If she will invalidate every single thing that you say, you are going to seek out validation from somebody else. And like you said with his mom, like he already knows these things, but he wants somebody whose opinion he respects to say like, yes, you are correct. This is what's happening. Because I think that like you can only go so far with your partner before you're like, I need to seek out some other help.
That's a great call. Also just thinking about who the partner is. which is Lindsay, and it's not going to go well. If he was like, hey, I'm having doubts, like, I don't know, who knows? But I love this season of Summer House so much. Like the way that we've been waiting and counting down for months for it. And like, I think just also from what Rayna and I do for a living and just dissecting relationships and talking about them and dating, like we have it all. We have like this Lindsay and Carl couple that's about an engagement. We have this marriage to dissect. We have like Sierra and West even and the dynamics there. And I don't know, Paige and Craig. I mean, I'm in a long distance relationship, so that speaks to me. Like, we have it all. Like, I don't know that I've ever loved like a season of reality show as much as I love this.
It's the best season. And I feel like, so much of the time when there's like this one major thing, you're all waiting for this breakup of Carl and Lindsay. That's the only storyline. And like everybody has a storyline this season.
Yes.
I'm loving it. And I get so sick of like Vanderpump. I mean, I don't know what else they were going to do, but like Tom and Ariana's house is like the central focus of every episode. And I'm just like, can we talk about something else? Like Sheena and Brock are like carrying the rest of the season.
Yeah. And it was like the show that I was the most surprised by was The Valley, because I genuinely was like, what are they going to do here? How are you going to make this interesting? And then I've been shocked every episode.
So good.
Like,
it's so good.
Skims, I'm wearing a pair right now. I would show you, Leah, but that would be a violation of our HR policy, which we don't really have, but I'm just going to say it would seem inappropriate. Just, I need you to trust me that I'm wearing Skims right now.
I trust you. You don't have to show me.
In fact, what happened recently is I threw out all my own underwear and replaced it with Skims.
I love a good refresh.
It's a good refresh.
Yeah.
That is a product of having a partner. Never in my life have I ever done a hard refresh of underwear until I've had a lady in my life. It really is important. Should we honestly, that's really, that should be the message of this ad. The importance of a hard refresh. Now, I know you ladies listening know, but like, trust, your man doesn't. And if you are in a relationship, hard refresh your man today with Skims. He'll never have a better underwear. The material's durable. It's great. It's comes in some really great pastel colors. I think I have like a pastel green pair on. There's a nude. I have a lot of black. Natalie picked them out for me. And obviously, you ladies know how great Skims is. They have everything under the sun. I think their bras, their underwear, their loungewear. Natalie raves about it.
What I love most about Skims is that it truly fits everybody. Obviously, my body has changed a lot in the last couple of months, and I can still wear my Skims. And I'm a ride or die. I love how soft it is, how breathable. I love it.
The quality is undeniable when you open up a pack of Skims. Whether it's their men underwear, their women's products, it is obvious that it's high quality products. It's truly like underwear you've never had. I say that with confidence. And like I said, I'm wearing them right now.
You know what else is great in addition to their underwear? Their t-shirts. I just got Danny the cotton jersey t-shirt and he absolutely loves it.
And they're same high quality with their underwear you get in, again, everything with Skims, specifically their t-shirts. And t-shirts, boy, it's like they don't hold their form very long after a couple washes. It's nice to know that Skims finally got into the t-shirt game.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but Danny wears something for 10 minutes and it's in the hamper. So I need him to have t-shirts that are durable and can withstand the amount of washing.
Well, you too can get the durable t-shirt from Skims. Shop the Skims T-Shirt Shop at skims.com. Now available in sizes extra, extra small through 4X. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Again, that's skims.com. Zoa, you've got to check out Zoa, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's energy drink. Zoa just launched a brand new campaign. It's all about the BDE, Big Dwayne Energy. They've got a really awesome new commercial that you can check out at Zoa's Instagram or YouTube channel. Zoa Energy is a better-for-you energy drink with great taste, electrolytes, B and C vitamins, and zero sugar. It's made with caffeine from natural sources to provide balanced energy with no crash. When you drink Zoa Energy drinks, it gives you the Big Dwayne Energy, which gives you the swag, confidence, and energy to help you conquer your day. Here at the Viall Files, my team has loved Zoa to give them the extra boost to get through their days with ingredients that enhance energy levels. Zoa Energy helps my team find the spark and motivation. They've got 8 incredible flavors like Tropical Punch, Wild Orange, White Peach, and now Frosted Grape, which happens to be one of my team's favorites, along with the delicious, smashing Cherry Limeade. Zoa Energy today. Available online and at stores near you. Find out where you can find it at zoaenergy.com and find retailers like Amazon, 7-Eleven, Costco, Circle K, and more.
Do you guys feel that way? Do you guys like the Valley right now? Or
I love it. I think it's another thing I like about the Valley is they all are clearly friends. And I enjoy that dynamic is that there's like history. I love when Janet was like, Sheena hooked up with my husband at one point. Like they have known each other a long time. Janet was in Sheena's wedding, like her first wedding, I think. They are really intertwined. And I have really missed like Jax and Brittany on the screen. Kristin, not so much, but like Kristin and Jax were born to be reality TV stars.
Yes.
Kristin has been like teasing this secret all season. We finally like got to see this all culminate this episode. I think that this was the greatest fourth wall break I have ever seen on a reality show. That
Agreed.
they're in the hallway with production and Kristin is screaming production and you get Jesse runs into the hallway and he's like, if you reveal this on camera, I'll burn your fucking life to the ground. You see all the cameras. It's like chaos. And then the dinner before that, everybody's just fighting with each other. They're all just yelling at their spouses and yelling at each other across the table. It was like one of the greatest 10 minutes of
Yeah,
television.
she takes her mic off and then says, did she take her mic off before she said it?
I think when she actually reveals the secret, which is that like allegedly Michelle has had a boyfriend for like the last year or something, or did previously. I think she took her mic off, but her boyfriend's mic wasn't
Yeah, 'cause
on.
she was
Yeah, no,
walking
you still
away,
hear her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's mics everywhere.
fully hear her.
There's like a
She
boom
knows
mic.
it.
Oh,
They're like,
Kristin's like, I'm getting this on. I'm getting
Yeah.
this mic.
production was like, yes.
yeah, they're not
Yeah.
gonna miss that moment.
It was insane. Michelle is in the hallway screaming, her nipples out. She's just like, she's still going and her whole.
Jesse pushing Zach up against the wall. I was like,
Oh
oh,
my
protect
God.
him at all costs. Like, and then I watched a clip recently of that fight again, and I was like, I didn't realize that Jesse was just bulldozing down the hall.
bulldozed.
Yeah, he went Zach, Brittany, Kristin, and then trying to get to Luke, and it was just like, oh, you just did not care. You were just like, everybody's getting a hand to the throat.
Oh my God.
I'm with Rayna. This is like topping my reality TV, like breaking the fourth wall. Because it used to be Jen Shaw fleeing the FBI. This one takes number one now. And then Jen Shaw's really bad.
Wow. Oh my God.
Like
We should do a power ranking of this.
Yeah, the
see-
best fourth wall breaks.
It's
in
crazy.
history
You
of
never see
reality
all the
TV.
camera. I mean, the amount of cameras you see and just
And
producers
producers.
Ugh.
running around. And it's at the Mondrian, which is so great because that was on Vanderpump last week. And it just was so amazing. Listen, I feel bad for these people. It sucks. Unless they have a child, they're married. But you do know also now, fast forward, that their marriage has ended, that they have separated, and she's in a new relationship. But I don't know. I'm not like rooting for either one of them. I don't like root for her either necessarily. She said something that really resonated with me because I have divorced parents, and she said, I think it's healthier for my child to have two people that love each other not in the same home than two people that hate each other in the same home. So that like resonated with me. But like these are people that should not be together.
No way.
Haven't had they said they haven't had sex in 3.5 years or something.
I mean, you've got Jesse like hitting on
That was Burning Man.
Burning Man
Burning Man Girl,
yeah.
yeah, Mermaid Girl, and I was just like, oh, this is gross.
Yeah.
She's right there.
So there's this girl, she's selling clothing at this event for Burning Man. Her titties are out. She's like 23. She's so hot. And Jax and Jesse are like hitting on her. And Jesse's like, see, people do find me charming. And it's like, this is gross.
Mhm.
Jax was
You're
like,
somebody's husband.
I want my wife to wear that outfit. And it was just like,
Yeah.
You're not doing what you think you're doing. I feel like it was like he thought that was like going to be like, look, like I'm covering up for myself. And it's like, no, it's just making you seem even.
And then we know that right before that dinner, Jesse found out that Michelle was talking to the therapist and was like thinking about separating, right?
Yeah.
That's what kind of like set him off the whole night.
Well, Kristin, she delivered the information incorrectly because Jax purposely tells people information knowing that it's going to get out. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't, he's such a shitster.
Can we
Like,
just talk about
like
how
the ultimate.
unnatural the meetup between Jasmine and Jax was? That it was like, I don't
So
think these
random.
two people
What?
are grabbing a beer in the middle of the day.
Yeah, is this the first time you two have ever spoken to each other?
She opens the scene with like, I just wanted to, like catch up and see what was up. And I was like, girl, you are not selling this. You're like, why am I here? Like, why do I have to be here for this? And then Jax is like, don't tell anybody this.
Yeah,
But
don't tell anyone.
I love when people on reality TV start sentences like that. You're on national television. I love it.
Especially Jax. I want to put a compilation together of Jax doing that specifically.
Truly. And it's also the way that he tries to like hide behind Kristin, like being like, yeah, we never know what we're going to get. It's a crazy Kristin. I'm like, look at what you're doing right now, sir. You're doing exactly what you're saying that she's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kristin told Jesse that she delivered the information incorrectly about like who said, because it was Jesse at the pool who said that he thought that Michelle was going to leave him within the next 3 months. But the way that Kristin delivered it was she said that, what did she say? She said that Michelle
She
it?
told Michelle, Jesse said on
Jesse
camera, he's
said it.
going to leave you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
In
she
2
said,
months.
Jesse said that he's going to leave you in a few months.
So
And
Kristin was the therapist.
Kristin was just
Got it.
delivering information wrong, but it just caused a whole mess of
It's pretty
pretty
crazy.
standard.
I actually
Yeah.
was wondering what you guys thought about this because, like, I think that with Summer House, it's so clear that like Carl and Lindsay are headed for a breakup. But I don't know that I feel that about Jax and Brittany. Like, I don't think that he's ever been so kind to her, so honest to her. And I think she's put up with a lot. Like, this dynamic to me doesn't seem so like we're heading for a divorce. I think a lot of couples have a kid and their sex life takes a nosedive, and it doesn't necessarily on the surface watching it seem so toxic necessarily.
Well, she moved out back in January and like kind of gave him a list of things. This is what Zach said when he was on the show a couple weeks ago, but he was saying that she gave him essentially a very basic list of things he would need to do to correct and like for her to move back in, and he's done none of it. So it's like he's very okay with like her not living in the house.
But like weren't these things just happening in the last 10 years anyways? Like why all of a sudden?
Right. I'm wondering if we're going to see the straw that broke the camel's back.
I think we are, because there's a fight in the preview where she was like, "And my own husband coming after me," or something like that. But it's like, I think we see more and more because Jax on television just does not care about anyone. Everyone is a storyline. I
Gives
feel
me
like,
anxiety.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
On screen.
He's just
I feel like
producing it.
a little like
Yeah.
tense when he's like on the screen. Like,
Yeah.
even when he was like in the Vanderpump episode, I was just like, I mean, I guess I don't know.
He's just constantly like producing, even the like
Yeah.
sit down with Lisa Vanderpump
Yeah.
and everything. It's
Yeah.
like you could come correct, but instead you're like, well, you know, I don't need to make apologies
It's
for
like really
anything.
combative all the time.
Yeah.
No, talk about breaking the fourth wall. Jax is fully a producer on this show. Like he's producing this whole thing.
He is the fourth wall.
I am Queens Boulevard. I am the fourth wall.
Well, that brings us to Vanderpump Rules, I guess. So Jack has a cameo. I say Jack. Jax has a cameo. He opens it up with James Kennedy. It is so awkward seeing them together. He's like, "We're gonna host this brunch at Sir," and then Lisa gets there, and Lisa's like, "What?"
It's like, did you not know? Is that the first time she's finding out?
I mean, maybe she's like a great actress, but like it genuinely felt like this is the first she's catching wind of this.
But she's there. Like, it's like all of it felt, she's like, I'm sitting here at the brunch that I didn't know was happening at my restaurant.
That's
I'm also
true.
like, when's the last time they saw each other? Like, is it
When she's being held against her will because she's like, I don't want to sit here. And I feel like there's an off-camera conversation of producers being like, no,
Yeah.
like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Like,
I
why
am
am I here?
curious what everyone thinks about the crossover between Vanderpump and the Valley because they're doing it on both shows. And specifically in this episode of Vanderpump, there was just a lot of Jax and Brittany
Yeah.
in the first like 10 minutes.
Doesn't it help? Is
So
it
I-
giving like Paige on Southern Charm?
Yeah, I
like
think
it
that-
just helps both.
I think it
right?
helps the Bravo universe. And I think people like the cross promo. And I also think when filming it, probably Vanderpump, those producers were like, we don't know if the Valley is going to take off. So let's interject
It seems
some
smart.
characters.
It seems like
Yeah.
a great
Makes
plan.
sense. I have a hot take though, because it's kind of it does kind of bother me a little bit,
Oh.
just because it's just like all of a sudden I'm like, wait, which show am I watching
Yeah,
here?
that's true.
Who's on what show?
What show?
Because it just seems like they don't know what's going to happen with Vanderpump either. Like because it's like, is Ariana going to leave? Is it going to be their final season? And then you have Sheena and Lala buying houses and going to all the parties on the Valley. So it's like, or are we going to take cast members from VPR and move them over to the Valley? Like, I don't know. So it just feels like I'm thinking too many other like extended questions where I'm like, I can't really focus because all of a sudden I'm like, wait, why is Jackson 40 minutes of Vanderpump Rules right now?
Jax's felt not purposeful. And it's so funny. He was like at the restaurant. Yeah, obviously Lisa knew this brunch was happening.
Lisa's like, I don't understand all this brunch that I'm at right now.
Yeah, I
Came
was
to be.
confused. I was like, wait, is this the brunch that she's talking about not knowing about?
I think it was because then they just
it
went right
was.
over to the DJ booth.
I was so confused. It took me a second. I was just like, but aren't we at the brunch?
Yes, like she literally, she was like, she looked like
so right.
She looked like a prisoner. She was
Yeah.
like there against her will.
I was like, are they having a meeting about this brunch that is happening right now?
You're so right. Like plausible deniability. You could tell her this at her house, and like it's like she doesn't run every event if it's Sir, but like
But it's funny, like, you know, I know again, it's like it's a TV show, whatever. But it's like, I don't know, is she on Instagram? Did she not see the flyer? Like, did it not come across her desk before this? Like, she was like, wait, I just saw that Sir. Like, it just was funny.
That's really funny.
Well, you also have James like asking for forgiveness, not permission, where he's like, so like, are we good? Like, is it cool for him to stay? And it's like, he's already here.
Well, the brunch is happening. It's already over, actually.
Like, it took me a minute. I had to rewind to be like, is this the brunch?
I was so confused. I'm still confused. I'm like, was it? Still don't know.
Lisa's really good though at acting like she doesn't know these things. Like she sells it to me. Like I
Yeah.
think there's been a bunch of scenes like when Stassi comes back in like I I don't know, season 4 maybe. And she has to like apologize to Lisa, get back on the show. Lisa looks like she has seen a ghost, but like Lisa's the executive producer, isn't she? Like it's on the call sheet. You will have a talk with Stassi at the restaurant today.
Right.
So it's just like you did know. I don't know, that bitch is good.
Get her an Oscar.
What I will say is a meaningful appearance is I really liked Brittany on this episode. And I
like
liked
that conversation.
and I think that it's true. Like, how many other people can really relate to Sheena? You are currently in this marriage that you're not sure about. They both have kids the same age, and they've been on reality television a long time. Like, I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, it felt like a real, genuine conversation between friends, like
Mhm.
discussing issues in their marriages and like being vulnerable. I also just like her voice; it's very like soothing. And southern.
Brittany's?
like, yeah,
You like
I
that
do
southern
love the
drawl?
accent.
I like.
The
I
drawl.
just I don't know. Like maybe it like brought me back to my like college girlfriends, but I just like it felt very like she helped her through it.
It is really sweet. And I think that Sheena and Brock, say what you want about them. I know what you guys say on the show. I think they've been very generous with their lives this season about money issues and Brock not working and him feeling like his wife won't take any time away from the kid and that her mom's there all the time. Like they both have like brought to the forefront some issues that I think majority of couples, a lot of them deal with. And
Yeah.
they've been really open about the
Yeah.
money stuff.
I've been saying
especially.
that she's been carrying the show.
Yeah.
Sheena.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that this episode in particular, between like the conversation that Sheena has with Brittany and then their date later and Brock with his friend, I thought that they were like being incredibly mature about like the conversations that they were having about, like Sheena being the main breadwinner, Brock feeling like he doesn't have his thing anymore. And when he had the gyms and all that, like it was fulfilling him in a way. And now he just feels kind of lost. And then also, he even opens up about his kids, like, and being a father. And that was like, I was shocked by that.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got into like a bigger conversation of women making more too, and like why
Mhm.
can't it be this way? And it's like, well, it can. Both parties just have to be happy and not harboring resentment towards the other.
I like normalizing it, that like a woman can be the breadwinner, and I like how she spoke about it. I like that she even said like, I don't want him to have a job that takes him away from me 60 hours a week. I like that he's here.
Yeah, and then the whole like this is your redo with the kid. I don't know, he was crying. I was like, oh. I did like how she said she brought sex toys to their anniversary. I was like, what sex toys she like? We just like glossed right over them. Like, what toy? Well, we have a sex
What
toy
did you bring?
company. If you guys are new around here, like we have a sex toy
know.
company. So I'm like, I caught on that immediately, and I'm like, what are they into? Like, what kind of toys?
Sheena, I feel like would get freaky. I feel like she does anal.
I think there's butt plugs. and
Yeah, I
handcuffs.
think she gets freaky. I
Yeah.
could definitely see it. Brock, I saw Brock the other day at FedEx, and he's sexy. Sexy. He's a big guy.
Did you see that they were just on Lopez and Lopez?
I did not.
No.
Have you seen Sheena and Katie's? Is it Chili's commercial?
Yes.
It's good.
So
Well,
good.
it's very funny. You know,
Yes.
like I have a high bar for like commercials because they're so terrible and corny most of the time. But I was just like, this espresso martini at Chili's commercial, it's iconic.
When Katie drops that line, they're not even famous.
Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're both so good in it. And then Sheena worked a shift at Chili's.
Yeah.
What?
I'm
She's waiting
obsessed.
tables. Yeah.
I guess my only thing, and this might just be like, I'm not a Bravo historian like Rayna and like the rest of you guys, but I guess the one moment I just didn't love, I feel like he was like shouting from the pool, like, you don't have to put the kid to bed. Like, we just are so big
Oh.
on like being a united front as like
Yeah.
a partnership. And it just felt like I would hate that. And maybe that's their dynamic, but it just felt like no, there was no united front about it. There was just like, the kid will be fine. What are you supposed to say? I don't know. It just, that really like rubbed me the wrong way, but you know.
No, you're right. That I forgot about that.
It was a crazy pool party in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that was just the beginning of all the chaos ensuing. But
What I liked about the pool part, I like Ariana and Tom's conversation. I
100%.
see it. It's just some growth. It's like, listen, I give her all the credit in the world. They are filming this season 3 months after her entire life was burned down to the ground. She can act however she fucking wants.
I always forget that, like the timing. of
I
it
do
all.
too. When
Yeah.
people are like, she seems so bitter. It's like, yeah, would you want to be around him?
Yeah.
She's just drawing a normal boundary, and so is Katie. But I thought that her conversation with Schwartz, where she could at least just joke around a little bit, like knowing that he knew about this all this time, like it would be very tough for me to be around
No,
him
I
ever.
think this is literally proof that all she needed was time. And look, even just a couple episodes in, she's already like cool with Tom Schwartz
Yeah.
again. So it's like,
Yeah,
d-
this is the most of like, I have to keep the timing in mind. Like you have to, I think it's really important because of like the way she acted on the reunion before when you're reminded that was days after.
Days.
Like,
mhm.
so this has been a year for us, but like, yeah, like you said, just a few months after, that's like so important to keep in mind.
people are always just like, you need to let it go and lighten up. She's like, I don't want to be at the beach with him. He fucked my best friend and he lied to me hundreds of times.
I want to give her more credit then, now that I'm realizing the timeline. Because even when they're like, do you care if he moves in to your house? And she's kind of like, I guess if he can pay the mortgage. Like, I don't know. What do you...
my dream house?
So yeah, she is more chill than... Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All she needed was time.
I think that she's... I mean, I'm just whatever she wants to do and however she wants to be. And she has really spoken out about him the least of anybody. She's been the least kamikaze-ish of everybody. But I gotta tell you, when Tom yelled across the party about Sheena having an affair, I felt like he pressed the nuclear reactor button.
Yeah.
She leapt off the ground. I was like, I could see it bubbling up in his body because he's always ping-ponging back and forth between like apology and being contrite and being like, I want to defend myself. You can tell that it's always happening when he was like, that's why you had a fucking affair, broke up a family. She leaped off the ground. Yeah.
Rightfully so, though. Like, I feel like Sheena's been like trying to sympathize with Sandoval this whole season so far. And it took one comment for it to be like, he's not taking it the right way.
Also, didn't she say that like she didn't know that this man was married and that it was when she was 21 years old?
So young.
I was going to say, regardless of what she knew, then it's still, she was 21 years old when she made this decision. You were 40. Like you should know better.
Totally.
This is apple and oranges.
It was a really low blow.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys felt like that was completely authentic to him or a producer put that in his ear. I don't know, because the episode was
James too, though.
I think
that's like par for the course, because the episode felt really nice and calm until then, and then it just like blew up in seconds.
Like, we need drama in this episode.
Like I was like, I had like whiplash. I was like, this is nice. We're just kind of like, because I don't love a ton of like screaming and drama. Like, so I was just like, this is a nice episode, and then it was just like,
Boom.
She has like really ridden for him to the point of like sort of upsetting her relationship with Ariana a lot, and she's really tried to like bring him back into the fold, and for him to do that and like
he's taking it for granted for sure.
Listen, I think that we all have our own, we talked to Esther Perel on our show about this, we all have our own narrative about like, if I had an affair and you had an affair, yours is worse than me, and we can always like tell like, well, this is why this is worse. But like on the hierarchy of having an affair, like cheating with your significant other's close friend and having that person around them all the time, and you're in your 40s and this person was almost 30, that is the top tier of like the worst thing you can do.
I think it's the farthest end of the spectrum, that of Scandal, of any cheating thing I've ever heard in real life or in pop culture or otherwise. I think it's the top. Yeah,
and it wasn't just once, it was like
hundreds of
happening.
times.
Like her grandma's funeral. I mean, just
funeral.
all the
Day
whole
over at the
thing.
house.
It's horrifying.
I mean, when he says like, I'm not a bad person, I did a bad thing. No, you did hundreds of bad things.
You did a bad thing over and over and over and over
and
again.
you keep doing it
and lied about it. You also, it's not like you came forward with this because you were so like eaten up with your guilt. Like, who knows how long this would have actually gone on had
forever.
You know?
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Rachel. Like, whenever she tries to say like, I'm doing better, it's like, but you're still not. Like, you're still talking about Ariana and you're still
wearing her
like,
clothes to Stagecoach.
like
her haircut.
Suing her. I mean, I'm sure if you asked Brandi Glanville, like, was what Sheena did to you the worst thing, she would say yes. But, and I'm not saying like if you're 21, you get like a pass, but like, I don't know. When Sheena said this was in 2006, I was like,
I feel like Brandy's over it too. Like everybody forgot it happened until Sandoval was like, oh,
yeah, I was like, Justin was born in 2006.
okay. No, it wasn't. Not that young.
I just think the internet wasn't what it was back then. I mean, yeah, she could have Googled Eddie Cibrian, but who the fuck has ever heard of that guy before that?
I give people.
She also said that he was separated. So I'm just kind of like there. So you're not going to find anything on a Google search that says separated but working towards divorce.
Not about him.
And exactly, that's what I'm saying. And even if he was still fully married, that's just information that most sleazy men that are going to have an affair would tell a younger girl. I'm separated, but like we're going to get divorced soon.
Yeah,
but you know,
you cannot throw something in my face that I did at 21. That's just crazy. No. I was like a completely different person. That's like very young. Like, I know you know the difference between right and wrong, but like just barely. Like, I don't know. You're like just barely not a dumb teenager. it was like such a low blow.
It was random. Yeah. That's a good question though. Maybe it was a producer like influence. Like they were like, you have 20 seconds. She's leaving. Like throw it out there.
She's got to put her kid to bed, 9 p.m. bedtime. And they're like, Tom, go.
I mean, I think that just is who he is. I mean, he's the king of I'm sorry, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think everybody has a right to defend themselves. I don't think I'm sorry, but is always the worst thing in the world. I do think you can say, I'm sorry. However, here's my side of things. Like
100%.
Ashley and I always laugh about people saying like, you seem defensive.
I'm like, yeah, I'm defending myself. I hate when people say that. You seem defensive. You attacked me. Well, I'm playing defense. That's crazy to me. Like, I think it's so crazy when people like don't expect you to explain yourself. Like, if somebody does something to me, I actually want to know why they did it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the genuine apology is wonderful, but I also like I do want the explanation. And then it's like, whoa, don't be defensive. What?
Stop gaslighting me.
Yeah.
Give me a good
Anyway.
one, but give me a good explanation.
Guys, I'm not
Because he
defending.
can't do it.
Don't.
Yeah.
I'm just not conflating the two. But yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry, but like, I can be sorry for something I did and also want to explain the route we took to get there.
Yep.
So I think that that's his MO. He's always, I'm sorry, but he said to James, I'm sorry I slept with your fiance, but you slept with Kristin. And
Yeah.
James is also like, I was 21.
In comparison to what he did last year.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's crazy. He's like, 2006, you did this. And we're like, yeah, but 2023, you did much
Right.
worse.
Not 06.
What did you guys think about Sheena saying that now she has thoughts of Brock and Lala?
Ugh. Just because people say it on the internet? Is that really it? Did I miss something? Is it just because like, or is it because it started with like people making comments, and then it transitioned into
Well, there's
Tom
also
did this.
there was a scene at the brunch when they were like,
Yeah.
"Should we go have a pool party?" And Lala's like, "Let me call my husband real fast to see if it's okay." And she like fake rings
Yeah.
it, and then Brock is like, "It's okay, you can go."
Oh,
So, like-
I missed
Yeah.
that little
So people
thing.
caught that. So there's little like comments that are made. Maybe they made that as a joke of the comments.
Yeah,
But
but
then
then,
they
Okay.
show
Season-
Sheena's face, and she's like,
yeah, and Sheena's
not
like,
looking happy.
Well, there's also in season 10, which I think is where it came from, that Lala got like emotional because remember the season prior, she was accusing him of being a deadbeat dad.
Right.
Season 10, she was like, I really take back everything I say. And like, he's helping raise my daughter and how much I love him. So I think people took that as like, watch your back, Sheena.
Right.
But like, I don't think that that was the intention at all.
Because Lala is like the quote unquote Raquel in the scenario where she's like the single
Mhm.
friend on the side. And
Mhm.
Lala and Sheena have like houses next door to each other. And
Yeah.
Lala's a single mom. And so they do spend like a lot of time together. I don't know. I think that it does. I think this is why Scandal was such a big deal. Every single person said to themselves, could this happen to me?
Yeah, I think that's why she was saying it. She was like, this happening has put those thoughts into my head now that weren't there before.
Mhm.
And like the parallel is exact.
Yeah.
It's not exact. It's close.
It's
It
very
would be the
close.
same. And, you know, I think they're all like, well, if the show, you know, the numbers start going down, we got to make it happen. Everybody knows.
Season
that
12.
Lala gets a
that's
bonus?
what happens. Yeah. No, okay. Well, maybe I'm not. You never know.
No, I mean,
that's
you
it's.
never
I
know.
felt for her in that moment.
Yeah.
Talking. That's a tough thing to think about. That's really. And then once you think it, you can't unthink it. I just that was tough.
And I think that's
I felt
every
for
like
her.
woman's like worst fear, you know,
Yeah.
is like, oh, would my best friend hook up with my partner? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you
Ew,
would want to say
stop.
no.
Can't even think
I would
about
never.
It. It makes me like the full body.
I mean, we've talked about it, and I said, like, I can't imagine a scenario where, like, I am with your partner and I lie to your face every single day
No.
about it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's my worst nightmare to, like, be that evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd never recover.
Yeah, I don't know that most people would. Well, maybe we wrap up with some dog stuff. James Kennedy and the dog. James has to find a reason to cry every episode.
Yeah.
Oh my
he
God.
stresses me out too. These
He's
people-
so soft.
The loose cannons of it all. I'm just like, what's gonna happen?
I'm enjoying the cry though, because I feel like previously he wasn't like this soft, like wholesome person, but now he's crying about like genuine issues, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, he's comparing it to leaving his dog with a sitter to leaving a baby with
It's
a
a
that
little
was
different. yeah.
wild.
like I don't
Like,
know.
like Lala was like, what did you just say?
Like I love my dog, but like if I'm going on vacation, she's going to a sitter, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to think twice about it.
Yep.
They've got to figure that out. I'm a huge dog lover. I've had dogs, you know, for the last 15 years. I have a dog now that I rescued. Like I'm coming from that place of like that it's still an animal, and like you can't revolve your life around it, and like.
Yeah.
A trustworthy sitter, your dog's going to be fine. I know there's like backstory there, and there's like trauma,
Mm.
but
He's
that
letting
sucks
it
for your
affect the
partner.
relationship.
Yeah. Like when she sits sleeping in the guest room, and then there was this whole cat. Like I don't know. I'm just like you can't let a pet come between your relationship unless you're using it as an excuse. I asked Rayna that as like my expert of like, do you think it's an excuse? Do you
Mhm.
think he just doesn't want to go to that wedding, or do you really like? What do you guys
That's
think?
where my brain would go if I were Allie,
right
because I'd be like, you just don't want to come to this wedding, like
right
you know, like this is my friend, like I'm in the wedding, like
Right.
of course you should come. You're just using this as an excuse. That's where my brain would go.
He seems extremely reactive to me. That's why he's great television. Like, I think he feels things
That's like
deeper.
such an understatement.
He
He feels
feels-
reactive person I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, he feels things deeper than like anybody else. And I think that Allie is a great partner for him because I think with Kristin, it was like a psychotic explosion between the two of them. And I think with Raquel, he didn't really respect her. And so he bulldozed her so much. And I think he respects Allie. But like, Allie's also like, I took in this girl's fucking dog, your
Mhm.
your ex fiance's dog.
And now she's in the
And now
guest room.
I'm suffering.
Yeah. Right.
Very true.
I have like a lot of feelings. I'm like, you just this can't, like, if I were Allie, I'm like, whoa. Okay, so for till the end of time, unless your brother is available, we can't like go on a trip or something. Like, I don't know. They will have to figure that out.
Well, then that's the thing. It's like he only trusts his brother to watch the dog.
Right.
It's like just hire any dog. So then he's comparing it to like the Sheena situation, I guess, where she will only let certain people watch Summer.
it's
And,
a kid.
but it's very different.
It's not the same.
It's very, very different.
Like, I'm a woman who like loves my dog so much and is not planning on having children. And I still know my dog is not my child. Like, it's just not, like, animals and people are different. I'm sorry, I'll die on that hill.
When he is trying to rationalize this to Lala.
Yeah, Lala's like,
What?
what?
I'm out.
Also, I don't know if you guys watched
She just got up.
Bye.
Yeah,
She's like, I'm actually not
This is
gonna.
beneath
not
me.
doing this.
Completely. I don't know if you guys watched the after show for Vanderpump / The Valley, but Jesse is talking about, he's like, we're a little different in this family. He's talking about how they went to Paris, him and Michelle, with their daughter,
Yeah.
and the sitter canceled, and he hired the hostess of some restaurant
Oh.
to babysit their kid. He's like, we're different than James.
Oh, no.
We're like, we'll see you later.
Again, there's a spectrum of that too. Yeah.
Was he serious? He dropped his daughter off with
I'm
a
sure he was,
stranger in
yeah.
another
By the
country?
way, I'm sure he is because that sounds like something Jesse would do.
1,000%.
Yeah. I mean, I have great dog sitters here that I am happy to message James about. Azul stays with this amazing family. They live in Culver. There's a mom and a dad and a little
I'll watch the
girl.
dog.
Right? There's a lot of great.
I kind of feel like they were trying to like insinuate that too. They're like, we all have dogs. Like
Yeah,
there's a
right.
number we could
We're
give you.
dog people too. This is not that deep.
Well,
but-
also it's funny because he's like, you don't understand the feeling like I was separated from this
Yeah.
dog. But Lala's like, I don't understand the feeling. She's like, I haven't been in court for 2 years with this scumbag.
I have to literally hand my baby off to some in between person to give him to the
yeah.
person I hate.
Lala's like,
Okay.
no,
Oh my
I
God.
totally don't get it.
I can't relate.
Randall Emmett has like a 22-year-old girlfriend or something. Lala has to like give her child to that girl.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
no.
like, you don't get it. It's a dog.
It's not the same.
He might relax a little bit. What's the timeline of when he just got the dog back?
He just got it like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, it's like that fresh.
It's within 4 weeks.
Okay, I'll give him a little grace.
But he's fine to leave the dog with his brother.
So that's what's
Yeah.
interesting to me because like there are people that are really qualified to watch animals.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, I hope they figure it out. She seems like a sweet girl, and I mean, whatever. I don't know.
Before we end, I just want to know everyone's thoughts on Lala saying that she hasn't been watching this season.
But wait, did she elaborate
So,
on like for my own mental health, or just like I don't have the time?
I'm a feeler. I don't know how to be quiet. I was kind of getting into a darker place this season. I've stayed off the internet. I know what people are saying, the backlash I'm getting. It's hard because I don't regret any of the season. So I guess she's like, just, I don't know
But that's the
if
thing
she
of
watched
first saying,
in the
like, I
beginning.
know what people are saying. Like, that makes me think, like, you might not be watching the episodes, but you're, like, going online and seeing headlines. So I'm like, I don't know how that's any better.
Yeah, I also
Right.
wonder if she started watching it and then stopped midway through, or
Wait, do you mean the reunion like the previous?
the one they just recorded.
This one, yeah.
Oh, this one, not like the last one where she was a little crazy.
So basically what they said was that there were 7 episodes left. They sent all 7 episodes to everybody and that the reunion was this like crazy, explosive like meltdown of everybody. Even Andy was like, it was crazy. Like, and I mean, I do think it is your job to watch the show if you're on the show, right? You're like commenting at the reunion about like, it would be like,
Oh, right.
I mean, listen, Lala is some of the best television I've ever seen. She could do whatever she wants, but it's like going anywhere with half of the information. I can't have a fight without having all the information.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to not watch it, I would just feel like I was like ill prepared. But I guess Lala's like, I filmed the show. I was there.
Well, she was there, but she didn't see
The
everybody.
commentary.
Yeah,
The
what everyone
confessionals
was
and
saying.
everything,
Oh,
Yeah.
right. That's a huge part of it.
That's a
Right.
huge part of it. I feel like
Right.
that's where most of the drama comes from in the reunion.
Yeah.
Yep.
her whole storyline this season is like, I want to be soft. You guys made me laugh last week. You were like, I've never heard the word soft. Sounds so disgusting. She wants to be softer and kinder, and she's volunteering to film with like Sandoval and Joe, and it seems out of character for her. I think she's just kind of genuinely trying to find her way because it's not natural to her to not like attack people, and she's like, I'm trying to like re-engineer my whole personality. So it's not like natural to her maybe, and she's just sort of lost her way a little bit, and she's like not proud of what happened. I don't know.
She says that she doesn't regret any of the season.
Okay.
I think she's just, having a hard time, like, reading the comments and hearing the, like, aftermath of people's opinions on her. I think that's the part that's harder
That's also
for her.
what's confusing, too, is, like, why unfollow Katie and Ariana if you don't know what was being said about you? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, where I'm like, those are your friends that you work with.
I mean, why comment on Taylor Swift? Like, I'm just like, she's making all these headlines. I'm like, aren't you, like, in your soft girl era? You're pregnant. Like, stress is bad for that. Like, just stay off everything.
Yeah. Well, that's like to what you said about like you're not watching the show, but you're reading the comments. That seems like the exact opposite.
It's worse if anything.
It's
right?
worse.
Yeah.
Like, because I think you'd probably, well, I don't know yet. I don't know what terrible things people are saying about her from this season.
Well, she said that she stayed off the internet, but she knows what people are saying. So I don't know if like maybe someone's telling her.
'Cause I'm wondering if
reading
she
the comments for her.
watched it back, she'd be like, "That's not bad." Like, I came.
Totally.
I don't. That's fine.
Or,
Like,
like,
I
I
don't know
would-
what she's so scared of.
I
Like,
would
she's
wanna know what
clearly
the edit
avoiding it
is.
for a reason.
Yeah, to me,
Yeah.
it's the stuff that she's done after the show that was more questionable than how she's acting on the show.
You really are so right. Like, I mean, people have reacted to stuff we've said on the show, and we're like, we didn't say that. That's
Or-
not what happened.
Right. Or like you listen back, you're like, oh, I stand by it.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you get
It's
you
worse.
you forget you make it worse in your own head where you
True.
would watch it back and be like, I look great.
You are totally
it was
right.
fine.
That was fine.
Yeah, I stand by everything I said. You're so right. Reading the comments is the word. You're gonna let these internet trolls tell you what happened,
Right.
Why don't you just watch what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, I have, and I never will, and you can't make me. I'll never go on Reddit. But like one time I went on Reddit and I was like reading this thread about myself, which I'll never do again because I would never do that. But I was like reading like somebody's like synopsis of what I had said and done, and I was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
But if you read that, you'd be like, she's the devil.
Yeah, I mean, that happens even like outside of Reddit. It happens every week. It's like someone is like has a problem. You know, we had like Tyler Cameron on recently, and you guys had him on recently. You guys had him naked. We unfortunately didn't know that was an option for us, but he like someone twisted his word. Like he said that women shouldn't work and they have to stay home with the kids. We're like, whoa,
Not at
no,
all.
we didn't. He talked about his whatever. So we always say people hear what they want to hear. Now we're like spiraling into something that we feel really passionate about. But like people really have different experiences watching and listening. It goes through their own filter and comes out the other end, and you're like, that literally wasn't said. I can like pull the receipt on it, but
Yes.
you know, people hear what they want to hear. They say what they want to see.
Yeah.
So I think all should watch, and maybe she'll feel better.
Yeah, I agree.
Should it be Watch What Happens Lala instead of Watch What Happens Live?
Yeah.
There you go.
But and then I'm sure she's been on it recently, right? But,
I
like,
don't think
and-
so.
know.
Is she-
Actually, I don't recall.
like
her
I'm
being on
laughing
it.
thinking about her being on that or on a reunion and be like, I don't see it. Like that's fun.
She's like, I don't know.
Is this like an ultimate flex? Is this her being like, yeah, I don't have time?
She was on it 1 month ago.
Well,
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I also heard that Ariana hasn't been watching.
She also said she did not watch. No, she said
She's
she went to the
busy.
she
Yeah.
went to the reunion
She's
and did
booked
not.
and busy.
She didn't watch the last 7 episodes, which she's in Chicago. I'd be like, I'm tired.
It's so funny that they all just stop watching. Sheena's like, I don't know, this whole Chili's thing. Like, I've just been really busy. Like,
Well, Sheena
they all
says
show up to the reunion and they're just like, I don't know what happened.
they're like, you tell us.
I didn't see it.
Sheena got really vilified for this a few years ago, and Sheena was like, I only watch my scenes. I fast forward to everything else. And I was like, I probably would do that.
By the way, same.
I don't even
Why
watch.
did she get vilified?
People like really came for her.
With what? Saying you're what, a narcissist?
No, like you should watch. This is your job to watch the whole thing, and you're like so self-centered and egotistical. You only watch your own stuff. I'd be like, yeah, I don't need to watch Jax and James play basketball together.
Sure.
It's your job. That's an interesting thing. I don't know. Like, do you listen to our podcast?
That's different because I just like I'm there, and then you produce the show, and it comes out like sometimes at home.
Yeah, but what if 1 week I just try to get you canceled?
I
I
just-
like put a
I-
bunch of words together. I AI'd you.
I guess that's how confident I am in our friendship. That you would never do that.
Takes
to me.
words that you say out of context.
No,
and,
I
like,
could do it. I could do it.
She could
tomorrow.
definitely do it. She could do it anytime she wanted. I mean, I have like ultimate trust in her.
different thing. I don't know that they feel that way about their producers.
Yeah, I mean,
Ultimate trust.
Ashley's my producer, so My producer's my best friend. Her job is not to ruin my life.
Yeah, because my income relies on that too.
So anyways, listen to our podcast. It's called Girls Gotta Eat. It's a comedy show about dating, relationships, sex. We have solo episodes, guests. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
next episode crushes still. People love it. We'll have him back
Mm-hmm.
at some point.
I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so
this
much.
was
A real honor.
so
This
nice.
was so fun.
Like this has been so great.
It really, I hope we did it justice. Do you guys tell us how we did, you guys?
I think
Wow,
you did a great
my
job.
cheeks are hurting from
Truly.
laughing, honestly. Like
Okay, good. That's all we want.
We love Nick and Natalie, and they're great, and we've loved having them on the show and being on the show. And I listen all the time. This is like my main like long car drive show.
No, this is the only podcast I listen to. Like, I mean, I really, someone even saw it in like a picture I posted. I like posted some carousel and you could see it it was like a picture in
that's
my
so
car
funny.
and someone could see that it said like the VI. Like someone was like listening to Nick. I'm like, this is what we listen to.
Love
And then all of
that.
you guys too. So
Yeah, we love
Aw.
it.
Well, thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
coming.
you so much for coming.
Thank you
It was
guys. Thanks for
amazing.
having us.
Interesting.
Thanks for listening. As you know, yesterday was our Ask Nick episode, and coming this Thursday, we have Nick back in the studio for Going Deeper. As always, send in your questions, ask Nick at the Viall Files, and we will get back to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.